headsets, hardware, and PlayStation. Shout out to Joe, can't you see him glow? Token brother brought the flow. Now it's time for the show. Let's go.
Oh, so precise. What's going on, guys? Welcome to Revolver Live, the gaming podcast that says forget the past. The future belongs to the nerds. I'm the Beastly Gamer. Welcome back to the show. This week, I've got three of the best guys I've ever known in my entire life, starting with Mr. Wilson. How you feeling this week, my friend?
I'm feeling good, man. Glad there's a show this week. If you don't know what we're talking about, check
out
Briar's recent Twitter troll posts. But other than that, man, I've been having a good week. I've been watching Overwatch League, earning some credits so I can buy all the Hanzo skins. They're only giving me like 2 credits at a time, so they're kind of cheap. Other than that, I have not been using Zim in Overwatch at all as Hanzo. Nope. Haven't been doing it.
You are a man of moral compass. I like that, Wilson. You've got all that power in your hand, literally, and choosing not to use it. That is a man. You have dignity, my friend.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Absolutely, Peter.
And I've been abusing the shit out of it. I'm not gonna lie. Oh. Well, thanks for tuning in. It's awkward now.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I mean, Captain, you've kind of gone full scumbag as well. Like, you know, you've gone Hanzo with a Zim. Like, the double layers of douchery.
You didn't think you'd get any lower, man. A whole new level here. Get on my level.
Hanzo was always a difficult character for me to actually get to wrap my fingers around. It seemed like a character with a higher learning curve with the way that you shoot that bow and whatnot. So the fact that you play with him, you love him. To me, that means that you're a very dedicated player, and you're good with him too. So
he's attractive as all hell.
Yeah, I agree,
put
man.
that out there. Shoots dragons and he's attractive.
Got a nice
I like
tattoo.
Ski suit Hanzo with the little nose piercing.
It's the only one I don't have. I dislike you even more.
Damn. Speaking of the one we dislike, Gary.
Hello.
How you doing this week, my friend? For the people who don't know, yeah, we had some drama. Everything blew up. I told the guys I was walking away from the show today, and I was literally signing off of Skype until Gary made me a proposition for the next time he comes to the United States. And he said he's going to do some things for me, and actually I'm here to stay. So thanks. How you doing this week, Gary?
Pretty good. I mean, as I said, I'm waiting my impending doom at the hands of the Atlanta Anaconda, but you know, I'll take one for the team if it means the show goes on. Yeah. Never say no.
Now, Briar. He looks afraid.
I am. We can never do the Revolver meetup. My poor heart can't take it. But yeah, it's been good. This week's actually been a bit of a turbulent weekend for me. I discovered that the new Nintendo 3DS XL, yes, that is the title, came in a hot pink color, and I likes me some hot pink. On the way to the store to get it, you know, happy as a little Sandman. I had money in my pocket.
It's about 90 minutes ride, right?
Yeah, I mean, in one pocket I had the cash to buy it. The other pocket was hopes and dreams of playing it on the way home. Arrived at the store after a 90-minute drive for the clerk to tell me, "I'm sorry, sir, we sold the last one between you calling to check stock and you arriving." I mean, you could have heard a pin drop as the tear rolled down my cheek and landed on the floor.
So I'm at Starbucks, okay? I'm with Sam, and we're getting coffee, and I get this message unfolding. Like, Briar's like, "Hey, I'd really like to play some Sea of Thieves with you guys. What are you doing?" Gary's like, "I'd love to, but I'm out and about." Gives us the sad story, all that good stuff. Then sends us a picture of his shoe and his Starbucks drink, because I have a feeling those were the only 2 parts of his body that didn't look pissed off. And that was why I believe the words we used were he was what was the words we used? It wasn't steaming, it was he's smoldering inside a Starbucks right now. Poor guy.
Nothing but a non-fat latte and anger.
There was a significant pout going on at the barista. It was not a good time. But the story has a happy ending for those of you who care.
Ooh.
Poor little Gary did not go home empty-handed that day. No, he did not have the hot pink 3DS XL. But what he did get was this beautiful monstrosity here. Now, this, for the audio listeners, which I'm now dazzling in front of them, is not a small sachet of a child's comforter. No, this is the Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer 3DS. So I now have the campest, most infantile 3DS on the market, and I frankly could not be happier. So that has been my weekend.
If you've never seen this thing, it's worth a Google. It is worth a Google.
Just picture funfetti cake in the picture in the shape of different homes and houses, basically.
It just makes me warm all over knowing that your granddaughter one day is going to be so happy, about your taste in the present day. She's going to have all these toys to play with. It's a really special thing, Gary.
And hand-me-down clothing.
Yeah. What is that, Grandpa? Oh, this is a pink Pokemon hoodie, honey.
Who is Diva, and why does everything you have her picture on it?
Yeah.
I'm going to be completely honest. If my granddaughter grows out of age 13 to 14 clothes, then this is going to be kind of useless for her. So,
So there's a lesson to be learned here from Gary's mistake. If you call and they have one left in stock, have them hold it. Tell them your name. Maybe give them a safe word, Oklahoma. I don't know. That's a good one. It's very uncommon.
Avocado always works.
Avocado works good. And secondly, he also informed us that he had plans to mod his 3DS to put little blue laser cut decals on there to make it more diva-like. So he was showing ownership before he possessed the item.
That's called counting your chickens before they hatch, Gary.
I'd rather you didn't pick at scabs and open old wounds, Wilson. I'd kind of moved on from that. I'd made my peace with the loss of the Diva 3DS. And
now we're almost even. Now I'm slightly less mad at you.
I'd hedged my bets with the small child's comforter pattern on mine.
It is kind of it is kind of messed up that we're messing with Wilson this week because it is his birthday on Tuesday.
It is.
So
that's right.
Happy birthday, Wilson.
You're a young-looking man, Wilson. I mean, if I had to guess your age, no kidding, I'd say 26.
If I had to guess your age by the way you act, I'd say 15. That's what most people say about
15,
me. Like
16.
Yeah. That's what someone last week said. Wilson sounds like every other 20-year-old I know, and I was like, thanks. I'm about to be 34.
But last night I had a conversation with my oldest son, Brett, who's 16, and he acts like a 16-year-old, traditional testosterone-filled male, sits in the bathroom for an hour, throws towels down at the bottom of the door so people can't see what he's doing, comes home and plays Fortnite all weekend. And I'm going over this these changes I want to see him go through over the next couple of years. And during this whole diatribe, this whole speech, I had to break some truth to him. I said, son, you might be surprised, but I'm a fucking kid too. And I am. I'm just a kid who's gotten older, taking a lot more naps. But I had to break it to him that, we look a lot older and we gained some weight and we got hair in strange places, but we're fucking kids too. And like you said, Wilson, some of us act more like children than others. And I'm proud to wear that badge, my friend. It's very, very.
I mean, the only thing that's really changed for me is the frequency and the veracity of the jacking off. Again, it's just now it's more of an infrequent thing. Sometimes I think I've got the house to myself. I could do it nice and early, and then the day is my own. But you kind of just sometimes can't be bothered to. You think, oh, I'm gonna get hot. I'm sweaty. I'm gonna hold myself up.
That's what I like what Joe Rogan said about it. He's like, no man gets done jerking off and it's like, yeah, it's more of like a I thought I was over this like, sort of thing. It's like, and there's nothing worse than the wife catching you. She's like, why was this door locked? And you play dumb. You're like, what the fuck? The door was locked?
I told you that.
You're right. I'll be right back, honey. I'm gonna find you lock the door. Like
No. Your wife always knows when you did it. They give you a look. Like, you walk past and they just look at you like, and you're like, hi. Or like in that situation, Wilson, when they ask you why the door's locked, you always blame it on a ghost. I swear, before I went to the bathroom, I thought you walked by here. That wasn't you? Oh, shit. Then you go into
we gotta move.
You grab the Bible, put it to your chest, and start walking through the house. It takes.
Look, there's ectoplasm right here.
It comes in various colors. This one traditional.
And that is how Briar got the college nickname Slimer.
Same color as his green screen, yes.
Should probably get that checked out, actually, bro. Gonna be honest.
And last, but certainly not least, Mr. Briar Rabbit, how you doing this week, my brother?
Yo, speaking of things that I'm deeply ashamed of, I have been sucked into a hole of anime all week. My wife, unfortunately, walked in on me watching. She walked in on me watching some anime. She tweeted about it. She publicized my dirty shame, my private shame.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I'm not proud of it. It all started. My kid had the day off. I decided let's check out this movie. It's a live action movie called Full Metal Alchemist.
Ah.
We turned it off within 2 minutes because it was so fucking god awful. Like, it was really bad, right?
Wait, the cartoon or the live action?
Live action.
Okay.
Live action.
Okay.
Okay.
I can see that.
I've
So,
heard it's a solid 6 out of 10, but
I loved it.
to you each your own.
but
Loved it.
it made me curious, like, what could have inspired something so horrible as this? Like, I've got to at least do some investigation.
Be gentle here.
Great anime, bro.
About 30 episodes later,
Whoa.
it's 2:00 in the morning.
Yes.
I'm lying in a pool of my own sweat on the couch, wondering what is going to happen to Alfonso and his suit of armor. What is going to happen? And then I went online and I was talking to Stream Chat about it, and I realized that I was watching the wrong version.
In fact, you're watching Brotherhood or the original?
No, I was watching the original.
Yes.
Apparently, there's a new version called Brotherhood that tells the exact same story, but better.
I disagree. Do you know what? We're gonna have fights here. This is the real reason the show's gonna break down, because I agree with you that the original Full Metal
He's talking
Alchemist-
about the OVA, Gary.
Well, the original.
Yeah,
for me, Brotherhood.
So there's
It
a live
jumps around
action,
too
there's the
much.
original, and there's Brotherhood.
Yeah. So, but the main difference is, Briar, that the original is a chronological telling, whereas Brotherhood is like a more cinematic telling that jumps around in the timelines and kind of cuts some bits out. At least that's probably the most simple determination of it. And
I've also heard that the end of it, like the last half of it, is basically an original story from the manga.
to an extent, it's to do with filler and stuff. But I mean, without going into spoilers on it, my own take is that the original Full Metal Alchemist is a far easier story to interpret than Brotherhood, and I feel like you'll probably enjoy Brotherhood more if you watched it post.
So you're
watching
right.
it.
That was the intention of regular Full Metal Alchemists, was to dumb it down, to Americanize it, to what is it? Final Fantasy Mystic Quest it. You know what I mean? Press A to win. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. Like, and they're bringing it over, testing it out, and people liked it, but they didn't like it better than what Japan got. You know, they didn't like it. They would rather watch that with English subtitles than what we got.
Absolutely.
So Brotherhood was more of what the actual story was supposed to be.
So what's so
I
weird
think
to
Brotherhood's
me,
way better.
what's so weird to me, right, is I watched 59 episodes of this story and the movie, which I had to sign up for Crunchyroll to do. Another secret shame.
You watch
Your
it dubbed
kid's
as well,
awesome,
then.
Briar. Your kid's awesome. Chain reaction,
Oh no, my
motherfucker.
kid has nothing to do with this. This is all on me. This is all on me.
Oh, God.
And then, you know, as I finished the movie, which is a continuation of Full Metal Alchemist, but like really, like, kind of not at all related, basically.
Kind of,
Like,
yeah.
all of a sudden we're in pre-war Germany in 1920 something. Like, what the fuck is going on here? So then I start watching Brotherhood. I'm like, wait a minute, this is the same fucking show I just watched, except they just redrew everything. Even the actors sound the same.
It's
Like,
better.
why am I watching this again?
It's better. Brotherhood is, in my opinion, way better. It tells a way better story, way more in depth. You get more look into who's behind creating Philosopher's Stones, why they want to create Philosopher's Stones. Whereas in the original, there was just kind of a bad guy, and then a guy that was portrayed as a bad guy, but who wasn't. And that's pretty much your end game boss. This was like some Swallow God level of planning. You know what I mean? Like that's
Sure.
the main antagonist. Is what he wants to do is quote unquote swallow God. And that's just way more of an interesting story than a corrupt leader and a guy who was supposed to be a bad guy but ends up being good, because we've all seen that a million times. But like, it's amazing. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Continue.
So all of this is teaching me that why it is acceptable for Capcom to make a Street Fighter 2, a Street Fighter 2 Turbo, a Super Street Fighter 2, a Street Fighter 2 Championship Edition.
Yes, you're absolutely
You just redo the same shit over and over again, and Japan loves it.
Eat it up, yeah. Yep.
Right, man. This is a deep, dark rabbit hole you're dropping down right
I
now.
I gotta ask, Brian. Now, is this your first anime that you've ever watched, like a full series? Or at
I
least a
watched
full
Attack
season?
on Titan.
Okay.
Nice.
And I found the monsters to be disturbing enough to keep my attention, but the amount of whining that the main characters did was very off-putting to me. Can we stop talking about our feelings, please?
Yeah.
And start fighting the big-ass monsters that are trying to eat us.
So you want an anime?
Assessment.
You want an anime more up the old Gary Street? So something more like Kill la Kill, right? And if there's any fans of that, I don't know if you've seen it. Every time that the protagonist is going to talk about her emotions, and bear in mind that she's a vagrant schoolgirl who has demonic powers, she just takes most of her clothes off, and that to me is like perfect
Gary's
balance.
in.
Yeah. Samurai schoolgirls and a lot of fan service.
And Galgun at the same time.
Yeah, I'm going to say that dangerous rabbit hole you go down. Do you think now you're going to be signing up for a pre-order of Galgun 2 Mr. Happiness Edition? Is that what's going to happen?
Does it come with a screen cleaner in the shape of panties?
Do you know what? I was going to actually save this until my pre-order arrived, but the game doesn't come out for a couple of months, and I think this is too good. I've not seen what this item is, but they have a mystery item. The screen cleaner was a pair of panties. Well, this time they've exceeded themselves. In Galgun 2, there is a mystery pouch, which they call an exclusive pouch for putting anything you want in. It could fit a 3DS, it could fit a Nintendo Switch, or it could fit something else altogether. Really, it's up to you to decide what you put into this pouch. I'm intrigued to see what this pouch is made up of, but more to follow when Galgun 2 releases.
It's not a fucking fleshlight, Gary. Jesus Christ.
I think it may be, Beasley.
It's on the go. We were just talking about the importance of a washer. Never mind.
Briar, I was in my late teens when I really first got into anime. I never watched Dragon Ball Z. I know a lot of people probably think that's crazy. I kind of got into anime around the inception of the Naruto franchise, and of course watched Berserk, Hellsing, fun little shows like Ranma One Half. Watch as much as you can. There's literally anime in every genre of film. There's Alfred Hitchcockian type anime like Perfect Blue, which is just crazy to see psychological horror being done in anime style. So just kind of experiment. If there's comedy you want to see, you can see that in anime. If you like horror, you can see that in anime. If you like action, you can see the anime. Just continue to, expand your horizons with that, because anime to me is one of the best mediums of enjoyment. I'm super happy that you're delving into this, man. That's
I don't know, Beasley. I think that I'm going to start watching some Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, try and get myself straight and narrow again.
Next thing you know, Briar next Saturday.
New Predator.
No.
Next weekend, Briar will be smoldering in Starbucks that he didn't get the new 3DS pink.
The pink 3DS.
It'd be just like Gary.
This is where it begins and ends, Briar. You'll be here in a Pokemon hoodie next week. It's all happening.
And
my wife is going to leave me if I continue down this path. The disdain in her eyes as
Brian,
I sit here watching cartoons night after night.
Brian,
Have you not
all you
pre-ordered
gotta
her
do-
the Men of Yoshiwara so she can have some male anime that we so carefully reviewed the last week?
That is a good solution.
The Men of Yoshiwara is a frankly beautiful masterpiece of a game.
So look, Briar, just pull her in slowly. Find a nice anime that has things that appeal to the fairer sex. I did that with Kate. She loves anime. She didn't think she'd ever want to see it, and now it's one of her favorite mediums. She loves it as well. And I just wanted to say this is the longest intro we've ever done. We're officially 27 minutes in. And for those,
real quick before we go any further, one question: who is your favorite character from Full Metal, Briar? Real quick.
Alphonse.
Mine was Roy Mustang, the Flame Alchemist.
Oh, who's the guy who is like super in love with his kids and wife?
Hughes.
I kind of like Hughes too. He was really
Hughes
cool
was
because
awesome, man.
he's super silly, like most of a lot of the time. But when he had to get shit done, he got shit done. I like that about him.
He did. I like it when they're having a big battle and then he's nowhere to be found. And they're like, "Where were you?" And he's like, "I'm not getting in the middle of this freak show battle." Like, anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Beasley.
not a problem.
I just like Louis Armstrong because he had a mighty moustache.
Mm.
That was about it.
That's why he sticks around you, Brian, because of the mustache and that mammoth beard. For those new to the show or join us for the first time, Revolver Live is a topical podcast with 6 revolving topics. You can be a part of the show by submitting your topics for consideration at revolvergamescast@gmail.com. That's revolvergamescast@gmail.com. We go live every Sunday at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern at twitch.tv/Briar Rabbit. That's twitch.tv/Briar Rabbit. The video's been shared on YouTube at Briar Rabbit's YouTube channel and my channel, Beastly Gamer. If you're unable to see the live video, that's us today, or the YouTube format, check us out in podcast form on Podbean, iTunes, or your favorite podcast service provider. And with that, welcome to Revolver Live episode 34. We're getting there, guys. 34. It seems like we just started this thing.
I'm about to be 34. It's
Yeah.
my podcast birthday.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
man.
34.
It absolutely is.
Your
Cheers,
birthday,
boys.
the day that the Destiny Go Fast update comes out. You've promised you're gonna live stream, and we're all gonna raid the shit out of your live stream.
Just throwing that out there, huh?
Far Cry
You
5.
promised.
You promised.
I did promise. It's gonna be awesome. I'm ready to go fast. I'm ready for hand cannons that shoot better. I'm ready for more supers and good times with friends. It'll be great.
Just real quick before we start, we got some great topics for you guys today. But Fantios made a really funny comment about Briar watching anime, and I can just see this in my mind. It says Briar quickly pulls up a porn tab when his wife walked into the room just to make sure she's not, watching anime. It's not that bad, Briar. It's not that bad.
I mean,
Every time I come in, you click away.
if the cartoon characters are fucking, it's not anime, Briar.
True.
That's all up to interpretation.
All right.
Anyway, our first topic, Briar. We're gonna transition. We decided to double head. We're running train on this bitch. You've got a topic, and I've got a topic on Sea of Thieves.
Oh, that's
And
right.
You want to talk about the Metacritic scores? You called it the Destiny of 2018. What do you mean by that?
By what I meant by that is that playing and enjoying Sea of Thieves right now. I got to mention to the live stream. I did lower the bitrate, so it should be a little smoother now. Playing Sea of Thieves right now very much gives me the same feeling that playing Destiny did in the early days of playing Destiny, right? Back in 2014? 2014. Yeah, 2014.
Yep.
When-
September
It's been a long
2016.
time, Briar.
Yeah, when I absolutely fell in love with Destiny. And, Destiny had received a Metacritic score of somewhere in the 70s. I think it was like high 70s. And there was a lot of, like, how can this game be so bad? The stars were aligned to make this game amazing. And it's just kind of flopped out there like a wet noodle. And here I am, completely addicted to it. I'm getting the same vibe from Sea of Thieves right now. I understand the shortcomings of this game. I'm not immune to seeing the shortcomings of this game. But I'm just having so much fun with it that I don't care. And I'm like willing to stick with it and see where it develops, because like Destiny was when it first came out, it just seems so open to become
Possibilities,
anything.
yeah.
Possibilities, I think, is a
Anything
great
can
word.
happen. Yeah.
Like, anything can happen while I'm playing it right now, but the direction they take it in development, if they see this game as a platform, and what they can add to this game, every time somebody says, you know what they should add to this game? I listen to what they say and I say, yeah, that'd be amazing. It's like every single thing.
Just like D1 at the beginning when we were all talking about it.
It feels so much like playing D1. Obviously, it's a completely different kind of game, but the feeling I get in being part of the Sea of Thieves community, it just, goddamn, it's a fun time to be playing Sea of Thieves right now.
And Briar, I agree with you. I mean, I've only played 1 or 2 matches since the game actually launched, but we did get together a couple of days ago, day before yesterday, and play, and we had a great time for that hour and a half that we played. And the whole time we were playing, that feeling of, is someone there? Is someone coming? Anything could happen. People could come around the corner. It's just one of those kind of exciting games that foster that.
Clarify there, Beasley. We had a great time. You left us fucking high and dry on a galleon.
No, he's talking about the time we had Gary Diaz, and I'm the #1 first mate, One-Eyed Willie, with an amazing dress. I'm wearing a dress.
Absolutely.
Where's your dress?
Although, interestingly enough, Beasley also left us high and dry.
We had a galleon. We were
a trend.
Stranded on some rocks, and he went, "Yo, Dad's here. I'm out." That was it. Left us.
Well,
Briar had to navigate a 2-man galleon to safety. Thanks,
ours
Beasley.
was technical difficulties, but
yeah,
that's the story anyway.
We did. We had a damn good time. We first of all, like, there's no shortage of PvP right now. There's no shortage of other ships out there right now. So we've gotten into a lot of battles. I believe we haven't lost one. We had a stalemate today. We sunk each other's ship. But for the most part, I think our record's pretty clean as far as taking out other boats.
We are pretty deadly on the 7 seas at this point.
That's pretty scary, man.
SS just the tip.
SS just the tip. Get some work done.
So, the PvP's great. Briar's an amazing captain with telling us what to do with the boat, what to do with sails, turn, drop anchor for a J-hook. He's good at getting us in line to shoot cannons and stuff like that. So we've kind of fallen into the natural order of Briar's the captain. And I want to say I've kind of loosely been role-playing it, taking it a little seriously or whatever, like trying not to do things without captain's orders and sucking up to the captain, that sort of thing. I stopped drinking, Gary, but only because I didn't get to play with you. If you would have been there, I'd have been drunk the entire time. But we did some awesome stuff. We did that Skull Island. We completed it.
Yo, the Skull Island's pretty fun. Beasley was there too. That's when Beasley got disconnected, but I think you saw the entire thing happen.
Yeah, I did.
We just had like a half-hour break while you were having connection issues, and me and Wilson were just like baiting the boss, but not killing him, and like looking on the horizon to make sure another ship wasn't coming.
Beasley talked about that feeling of, someone could be anywhere, and I call that the DayZ feeling. Of,
you did mention
you're looted up, you're kitted, you got all your stuff, and at any corner that you turn, someone could kill you and take all your shit. And that's the feeling when you got a boat full of treasure, man. We had skulls, chalices, chests. We had boxes like sugar and stuff like that. We had all the goodies from Skull Island.
When the beta of this game came out, I actually had an experience like that. I was playing with some randoms, and everybody had mics. And they were hiding chests in, the upper deck where you climb up in the middle of the boat. They were hiding stuff up there.
The crow's nest.
The crow's nest. And
that's the pirate term for it.
Pirate. Okay, so they had shit up there. Arg. So they had stuff hidden there. They had stuff hidden in the captain's quarters. And we were down looking at the map in the middle of the boat. And when we all decided, okay, this is where we're going, as we came up the stairs to the top deck, we looked over and there was a boat it was coming right next to us, and they started firing at us, and it was like the craziest thing ever, because it was like one of those Star Trek moments where you turn and look and there's a Klingon ship and they just start shooting at you. And it was so exhilarating, so exciting. I know that people are experiencing that right now. To me, that's one of the best, kind of feelings that you can have in this game. Like Briar said, anything can happen. You could be on an island collecting loot, and as you come around the corner, your boat's just, taking off.
Let me tell you about an experience I had. Anybody who watches the stream saw this happen. I think it was on Friday. Is I got off a boat to find a chicken. Right, my quest was go find some chickens. So I jump off the boat and I'm looking around for a chicken, and there's just a dude, like a random player, like just kind of chilling on the island. We both see each other at the same time, and we immediately start firing at each other. Right. I chase him for a little bit and kind of lose track of where he went, but realize, shit, he's got to have a boat. If he's here, there's a boat too. So I jump in my boat, I circle the island, and I see their boat, but they were still looking for me on the island. So I just start pummeling their
Destroying their boat.
Yeah. And like they dropped, I want to say 5 or 6 chests, right? It's like then they came, they came out, they got on the boat, and they started to sail away. But by the end, it was too late. Their boat sank while they were trying to sail away. They jumped off their boat. They tried to board my boat, but I knew exactly where the ladders on my boat were, so I just stood over the ladder with a blunderbuss pointed at the top, right? And I just shot them as they came up. And then I drop my anchor. I start grabbing all their loot out of the water, and then I see them coming. Like they had grabbed another boat. They respawned, grabbed another boat, and we're just beelining it because they wanted their loot back. Like it was such a fun experience. And I was just playing solo. It was such a fun experience. It was so high tension that, like, man, I gotta say, I love this game.
So you played solo and you beat a team?
It was a team of 2, but I've taken galleons down solo.
Wow, Briar.
Yeah.
Briar's like a fucking rabid pit bull when you let him off the leash.
Captain Redbeard, destroyer of the high seas. That's why we follow him. We don't follow him because he pulls off 1v1s.
The thing about the sloop is that you're so much more maneuverable than the galleon. You've got a huge advantage because you can stay out of their firing lanes, right? You just got to kind of got to slip around, and it's especially if they're parked and looting an island. You just roll up, you drop anchor behind them, and start fucking peppering them with cannonballs, and they're sinking. Right? They're going down.
Damn.
And then all you got to do once the galleon sinks is all you got to do is take care of the players, and they got to respawn on an island, not on their boat anymore.
So, in terms of additions to this game, because you spoke around people wanting to add stuff, and you were talking about the game being open wide to improvements. Rare have actually already spoken around their desire to keep it as a what it's called, like a horizontal progression game. They don't want any vertical power progression. So 2,000 hours into the game will be the same potency pirate as someone who's just stepped foot into the game their first time. So you're on equal peggings, and the intention there is so that it's a game that anyone can step into, and your experience and your power comes from knowledge of the high seas and knowledge of how to react in a circumstance. And the first item that they've leaked as something that's coming down the line is a megaphone, so that you can project your voice a long distance.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
So you can shout your orders to other ships, or your intentions to other ships, or to the shore, or to people approaching. What's your thoughts about that? Do you think that's the right attitude to take?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Again,
that's hilarious.
Anything you add at this point would be awesome, because I think, if you realize the core element of this game, and in my opinion, the core element is a choose your own adventure sort of thing, or sometimes the adventure chooses you. Like you pull out a port, go looking for some golden chickens, and within, 5 seconds, Briar spots a ship on the horizon, and next thing you know, we're taking it down, and 7 chests are floating to the top. Briar's dropping anchor and jumping off the boat like Forrest Gump as it sails off. All this crazy shit is happening, and sometimes you choose the adventure. We're going here, we're going to do this, and sometimes the adventure chooses you. But as far as additions go, the megaphone would be really cool. I mean, you could add anything at this point, but I think it would be really cool if they added a grappling rope mechanic.
Yeah, so you can pull another boat
that you could shoot or tow behind it. If you shoot it and out of the cannon and land a successful grapple, you're then towed in behind it and keeping the exact same pace. And then if you catch the wind just right, you could probably go faster.
So Wilson, on that topic of the grappling hook, I guess it's a good time to tilt onto the next part of our topic on Sea of Thieves, which is our wish lists and things that you want to see. So the only rule I'm going to add to this discussion is that Rare have already made it very clear this is a linear power progression game. You're not going to be able to be stronger. So talking about skill trees and things of that nature, and ability to unlock stronger weapons is not going to fly. But the idea of things like grappling hooks, like you say, I'm hoping each of us could maybe come up with a maximum of 3 ideas and justify why they're good. So do you want to continue along, seeing as you've started us off with a grappling hook and anything else?
Let's do one at a time. We'll kind of rotate around the crew one at a time. How's that sound?
Go for it.
Sounds good. All right, go ahead, Briar.
Well, I wanted to talk about your grappling hooks.
Oh, you want to talk about grappling hooks first?
Believe it or not, hold on real quick, Wilson. I swear to God, I was going to say a grappling hook right before he said it. I was going to say, you can grab someone's boat if they're like at the shore and pull the boat away from the shore. It's slightly different than what he was thinking, but I had a very similar thought. Yeah, I was thinking that you could like shoot one, grab onto a boat, and pull them away from the shore, and that way, whatever team is part of that boat, they got much further to go out into the sea. But you mentioned it first, so
you're thinking like a grappling cannonball, then basically. So like you could load a cannonball with a hook in it, and you could just hook another ship and tow them along.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could either tow them, or if you're chasing them, hook them to get in line with them.
Yeah, I think that those both work really well together. Yeah.
I mean, they had that, didn't they, in real pirate things? Like they used to anchor themselves to other ships so they could stay tight.
Yeah, if you pulled up alongside of it, they would hook so that it basically locks them.
Right, and then you have like an on the deck battle, right?
Yeah, and you could like drop like your plank would extend, or you could have one that drops down so it would connect you to the other one. Because they used to do that kind of stuff with like ladders and ropes and like anything that helps you get on the enemy ship or interact with another enemy ship in the form of a grappling hook, rope, ladder, bridge, anything of that nature would be super dope.
I like this idea a ton because it's going to create more like sword battles and blunderbuss battles on the ship decks, right, to like control the ship. But I'd want it limited in range so that you actually had to
be close,
use seamanship to get within range and like lined up. Both boats have to be going the same direction. If they're crossing like this, then they would just break. Like I want some seamanship to be involved in actually making this happen, and maybe you could only throw it so far. So, you had limited reach. Maybe you had to have like 2 or 3 of them land before they were effective. Otherwise, they'd break. But yeah, I think that would be awesome because what I do like about the game is there is a significant skill to piloting the boat or to driving the boat or sailing the boat. And I wouldn't want to see him. And because there's not a whole lot of skill in the hand-to-hand combat, I feel like I wouldn't want to see the skill of the boat, the sailing, taken away too much.
Well, one thing I was thinking of, but I don't know if this would fall into line with the way that they're progressing in this game, but maybe items that you could win or pick up throughout the game. Maybe a flute that you could pick up. Maybe a special type of item that if you're playing this flute and aiming at a particular boat, you can summon like an octopus to grab that boat to come up underneath.
Summon the Kraken.
You want to release the Kraken on these motherfuckers?
Something like that. A special type of item that maybe is a rare item that you might get during a drop, or something you might get for selling a certain amount of items.
Like how the messages in a bottle work, where you just kind of randomly find these things. What if this, Beasley? Imagine if you could use this thing, but it was 50-50. It would summon that Kraken and attack you, or
that's even better, Brian.
It's like a 50-50 shot. You can't control the Kraken. All you can do is get its attention.
It reminds me of the idols in Conan the Barbarian, the open survival game. After a certain town had pulled so many resources together, they could build like a shrine that would summon a massive deity, like a snake or like a Trojan warrior or something. And it was this giant would basically just romp through enemy towns and just level them or whatever. So it would be something kind of similar, but maybe not as broken. I like the 50-50 idea. I like that.
I like the idea basically of like what you said, looting. And I think Tefty said it on the DCP as well, Briar, that it'd be nice if there was more world acquirable items, even if they're cosmetic. In the fact you could get like a unique pirate hat that's only available on certain locations or randomly found or in shipwrecks. Like an old diving helmet or some shit that you could just find that was only available in a thing. No effect on your character, but just cool to have. Briar, do you want to go, or do you want me to hit my next topic up? So something that I'd like to see, the number one thing I'd like to see, in fact, would be persistent base building. So for me, I think, what do kids like? Minecraft. Why do they like Minecraft? Because it's a place to hang out with their friends. Well, what's Sea of Thieves, really? It's a place to hang out with your friends. It's just something that anyone can jump in and play. And I think if they learnt from Minecraft and built these base building elements, if I was grinding not just to increase my rank to get a cool hat, but I was increasing my rank to get like, I don't know, like a piece of a dock or a cool pirate sofa or some shit, like I can build a base and create and customize that base to my like. And I always start the game in my base. And if I invite all you guys for SS Just the Tip, we can sail out of my base and I can show you guys what I've built. And it's just something, you know, that I can create and work on. And it's something that I'll always want to grind for, because I can, you know, add more furniture and decor to this base to really make it feel like something that's unique to me.
That'd be awesome.
Would you want the base to be like raidable? Could you like stash loot there? Could you?
I think it would just be like any
persistent.
other base, really. You know, it's just like
NPC style
yeah,
cosmetic.
it's like an NPC cosmetic base. But obviously, the whole game is phased in that people, you only see a version of the world that's suitable to you. There's 100 other players in it, but they might have a quest that spawns a certain thing on an island that you won't see because you're not on that quest. It works similar to World of Warcraft in that way. The world is heavily instanced and phased. So obviously this island that's got your base on it, another person might not see it. You know, it'd only be people in your party. I just think it's something that it's more a cool gimmick to show your friends. You know, like something that, look what I've got. This is my base. This is my thing.
Got you.
I don't know what you guys thought about bringing more Minecraft elements
I think that's
into the
great.
game.
Yeah,
100%.
But Gary, do you think that adding those type of components to maybe your boat would be a good idea, to be able to take things off of islands and maybe fortify the sides of your boat with more wood, or take rocks and do little things like maybe grind them and mill them and add little planks of steel to your boat for defense? Do you think that's going too far?
I think you can't have anything that makes your boat stronger. You can cosmetically alter your boat already, so you can put different fronts on it, different sails. I like the idea that you said if you could customize your boat cosmetically. I think expanding that works, but I wouldn't like to see a way to. I've grinded so my boat can take extra cannonball shots. Like, I think that goes against the core principle of this game.
Gotcha.
It's just you hop in with your friends and every boat's equal.
You mentioned the cosmetic, you know, how they normally have some sort of a ornament on the front of their boat, usually like a woman, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A naked woman.
Gary's would totally just be like an anime chick on the front of the boat.
It would just be a diva mouse pad up there.
Yeah, diva butt mouse pad.
Just some panties hanging from the crow's nest. That's it.
It'd be the sails, it'd just be giant panties.
My first suggestion would be ghost ships. I would love to see on the seas, like random, you know, there's a completely random thing. Every once in a while, the skies will darken, you know, like the water will get black, and all of a sudden, like this, you know, glowing, you'll see these glowing eyes in the distance, and as it gets closer, you realize it's a ghost ship, and, you know, it's got 8 cannons on each side, and it is just absolutely, it's filled with skeletons or ghosts, or, you know, whatever they want to put for characters on there. And if you survive, you survive. Great. You survive the ghost ship. But if you beat it, loot. You get the loot from the ghost ship.
What
right?
about, I like that idea, but what about if it fully ripped off Pirates of the Caribbean and it just came out from under the water, just surfaced near you? You know,
I like it.
Or from the sky.
That's
whichever way, just
Why
there's
not?
something that you
It goes
couldn't
like a
anticipate, and it's just like appears. That's it. It's like it's there. I just remember, was it the Black Pearl, or is it the other one of the fucking
I think
films?
it's the Black Pearl, yeah.
I don't even know anymore, Gary.
Davy Jones' ship, the Flying Dutchman. That was it. The one that just came out of the water and just like, that's it. It's there. Like something. Yeah, that would be.
Yeah,
so
that
good.
would be dope, man. Like, and then you get in a fight with this ship. It's all NPC players, and if you know, the safe option, the smart option is to just run, just try and get out of there and keep your loot. But if you're dumb,
like the
or
people
you're
on
brave,
SS Just a Tip.
yeah, and you try and take this thing on and you sink it, you know, like just massive amounts of loot comes out of this thing, like doing the skull fort.
So I kind of had a similar idea, but I feel like yours, we could kind of play off this. So yours could be like a nighttime or a storm theme, like if a storm brews up, or at nighttime. But during the day, you got to watch out for the Royal Navy, man.
Yeah.
The Royal Navy's out there, and they want to catch them some pirates, man. So NPC daytime ships, the Royal Navy, they got gold too. They got loot. They got planks, bananas, and cannonballs, just like we do. So it give you, and maybe not right now. Maybe if the player population kind of starts to die out a little bit, that would be a good thing to add during the daytime, would be like the Royal Navy fleet or whatever. I think that'd be really cool.
I think it's
I-
cool
I-
to have anyway, even with like a busy sea. If there's like pirate hunters out there, because I mean, did you see
That's
the
what I was gonna
preview?
say. You could work for the Royal Navy. You could do a 180 and be a pirate hunter.
The preview of I forget what the fuck it's called, Black Flag or something, whatever the new Ubisoft game is, the one that's like basically the Black Flag ripoff that's just pirate combat.
Yeah.
If you watch the E3 preview, they had that where like it was ship to ship combat, and then every now and then randomly the like East India Trading Company would come in, and it's just basically get out there as quick as you can because these guys are like super heavily armed, and they'll just kill you and like take everything you've got. So I like that, Wilson, how that could be like an impending threat that if you see an enemy ship, you go for it, but if you see these guys on the horizon, you're like, fuck that.
I guess like a royal fleet, like a whole fleet of ships or whatever. And then if you want to, the megaphone's been introduced. You're looking around. There's 3 other groups of people. And you can get on your megaphone and say, "Yo, the royal fleet's here. We can either all get shit on, or we can shit on them and either share the profit or stab each other in the back once that's done." Like,
That's
that'd
what
be
pirates
cool.
do.
Love
That'd
it.
be really cool. Just an impending threat, like the Royal Navy has heard that there's piracy in these waters, so they've dispatched a fleet to, keep you guys in check. So you can either work together or
Do what pirates do.
crumble alone.
I like it.
All right, so
And the
my
megaphone
next,
would help with that.
Would.
I got 2 more ideas, but I think this one here will probably win the day. How about if you're out on the sea, you got your group with you, and you start to see something out in the distance, it looks maybe like a mirror or smoke, but you can tell it's not a cloud, and they have like this dynamic where you go through the or something like the Bermuda Triangle.
Ooh, I'm down with that.
And then when you go
Realm?
through it, you end up at the island of Atlantis.
Or just any lost island, or just
Any
like,
place like that that's just
Yeah.
kind of a mythical land that people hear of and maybe lore and you've heard about in history and possibly things that are
So
real
let's take
or
it a step
fake.
further. What if once a month, because this was going to be one of my things, I don't know if we'd have time to get to it. What if there was like a monthly event where something like that happened? Like, hey, somewhere on the map, something similar to the Bermuda Triangle has popped up, and if you find it, you go to a lost dimension where there's other lost boats full of treasure, where
Ooh.
other people got
Like the
lost at sea.
lighthouse.
And
of
it
the
was
sea.
and it's like a monthly event, or 1 month it's that, next month it's sea monsters are all over the place, or the next month it's the Royal Navy is in.
Yeah.
I'd like to see like monthly events that maybe last like a
something
week.
like
That's something that they kind of said they were gonna do, and then the first one is outside the game, like the quest for the golden banana or whatever. It's not actually an in-game quest. It's like outside the game. You had to like,
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like an ARG.
yeah. So like, I was kind of looking forward to like, what are these like gonna like weekly events or monthly events
Yeah.
gonna be? Hopefully they're not all outside the game like that.
Needs to be
I mean,
in game.
There's so
Yeah.
many options for that idea, though. Going through these like little warps, you could go. Imagine taking your boat and going through the future. And-
Or there's
yeah.
like a giant whirlpool that takes you down, and now all of a sudden, like your boat, you're not navigating the wind current, but the water current or whatever,
Yeah.
and you have to get to just little things that could just,
change
and
the
it-
dynamic of the game. Yeah.
and it's not just like, maybe you're sailing and you happen to stumble across it, but maybe there's like certain things that you got to do to find out where that location is going to pop up. Like, it's not just going to pop up and show everybody where it's at. You know what I mean? Like,
So,
kind of like how the Skull Fort does, but like it needs to be like you either discover it by accident, or there's like things that you need to do to proc it or whatever.
so I've got a couple more. I don't know how many more we can do, but one here that I'd like to see is, I don't think there should be skill trees. And I don't think there should be progression because, like we said, everyone should start at the same point. But what I do think there should be is, like you said earlier, Wilson, that everyone seems to fulfill a role. Like Briar's the captain, you're like the wench. Everyone's got a role.
I don't think we ever discussed my role. And
You
You're
put
the
on the
wench.
dress, Wilson.
Look, no one knows they're the wench. They just are the wench.
It's not a role you choose.
it's on the wench.
It chooses you.
Right. So wouldn't it be cool if, when you've got the infinite pirate generator at the start where you pick your pirate, wouldn't it be great if there was a level below that where you picked your pirate and now it's, what pirate am I? And why I say that is, the game works best when people pseudo role play and they're like, you're the driver, I'm the sales, you're the thing. Wouldn't it be great if there was one unique trait that you had, and that's the one thing you cling to? So whenever I join a match-made game, you know, if I join up 4 people, they're like, what are you? Well, I'm the captain. What are you? I'm the so-and-so. And it lets you fill a role immediately. So some things I've got down here are things like, I don't know, faster sail turning or faster bringing the anchor up. So you're the guy that you're the rigging agent, an animal keeper. Your ability is you can carry multiple cages, so you can take 3 cages with you. The captain, faster wheel turning, faster speed. Navigator, you've got a portable map, so you can actually carry a map around with you and lift it up and show people the map.
Ah, shit,
so they
Gary.
can see the position.
You won.
Cannoneer, so you can instantly load cannons or carry more balls. Crow's nest, you can get up ladders quicker and down ladders. You can board ships quicker. Quartermaster, so you can pick up barrels from your boat and take them on shore. So you can take an ammo crate on shore, or you can take bananas with you on shore, or whatever else to help people fuel. Or go armsman or swordsman, so you can be more proficient at quicker reloading with guns or quicker lunge recharge with your sword. The reason I think this would be balanced is you can only ever pick one, and that's your pirate forever. So you've got that one advantage, and everyone else has that capability, but you don't know what someone else is. I just think it really leans into the whole role play element. And I would, if I was a guy that was really good at loading cannons, you're always going to say to me, right, you man the guns, Gary, get on the guns, you're the cannoneer. Briar's like the guy who can aim. You know, I think it lets you lean into it. I mean, the argument back would be, well, you don't get to experience all roles in the game. I think you do. You just do them in the same way that we do. You're not worse at other things. You're just better at this thing.
I love this idea too, Gary, because it also create a situation where you'd want to create more characters. You wouldn't want to. Right now, I don't ever see myself creating another character in this game. It's going to be the character I have. I'm going to progress them, as far as I can, and that's it. But if I could have a guy, who was good at turning the ship, a guy that was good at doing the sail rigging, a guy that was, faster loaded cannonballs, like all of these roles would be viable and important depending on who I was playing with. So if I was getting together, let's say I wanted a 2-man ship with Wilson and he was real good as a cannoneer,
as a wench,
as a cannoneer,
swabbing the deck.
Then maybe I want to do something that more has to do with sailing. But if he's got a character that's more along the sailing line, then maybe I want to do something more that's got something to do with the cannons or going to get loot. I think I get a little testy when we start talking about doing more DPS. Like if we loaded the cannons faster, we could load guns faster. I think everybody would be playing those classes.
Those roles, yeah.
Maybe you could carry more ammo with you.
Yeah, I mean, these are just suggestions. Like,
yeah. But I
it's
love
more
that
the concept of it. Like,
I think it's great too.
The navigator, I think, could be really essential because really you've got no advantage except that you make everything fucking easy because people, when you're looking,
just make life better. It's like having a quality of life improvement in your fire team.
Yeah, like, it would be different things, but you think any one of these, if you say, right, you're a cannoneer, so you're really good at loading cannons, technically there'd be a real detriment to it because maybe your ship moves slower because now you don't have the captain perk, or, it takes you longer to raise an anchor, so you can't get away as quick, or you could have things like swimming faster, different random shit, just anything that you think is a pain point in the game, alleviate that pain point, make it a role. And that's it. You pick what you think is going to be most useful to you.
Being able to sprint while you're holding the crate, maybe.
Yeah. Like
the wench serves drinks, and those drinks, while intoxicated, give you more defense.
They give you auto aim.
No, we can't do that. We can't do defense.
They give you Skelly like auto aim.
I mean, armsman or swordsman could be something like extra bullets, and you mean rather than a 5-shot mag, you got a 7-shot mag, or something stupid like that. None of these are game breaking things, but anything that makes you role play more, because I think this game works best when you role play. Yeah. And this really leans into that.
It's hard to run a ship, especially a 4-man galleon, when everybody's kind of doing all roles. It's easiest to do it when you have everybody kind of, like, you have one guy doing, maybe the front sail and looking in front of the ship. You have another guy doing the anchor and the mid sail, and you have another guy, maybe below decks looking at the map and bailing out the ship and maybe doing some repairs, and another guy doing just the the captaining or just the steering. And then when anything needs to get done, they're always kind of like just watching their things, right? So everybody's always watching their sails so that they know when it needs to be in the wind. You don't have one guy trying to do all 3 sails,
Yep.
which takes taking forever. You're right. You're absolutely right about that. A good crew is absolutely going to be more effective than a bad crew. And if you select a good crew based on what they're proficient at, it's going to make it easier. People are going to go into the game knowing their role as opposed to trying to figure that out. Maybe giving somebody a role that's not good.
For me, I thought it's perfect when you've got match. We are fortunate that we play with friends most of the time. But for me, where this game shines is the fact that I don't have to play it alone. I can matchmake. And how much better would every engagement be, match-made scenario, if the first thing you said when you loaded in was, "Hey, my name's Briar," and they're like, "What do you do best? What do you do?" "Well, I'm a captain, but I can do anything else." It's like, "Well, no, you drive the ship." Like, it helps that engagement happen.
My name's Briar. I like to party.
Do you guys think there should be
nightclubs?
Do you guys think there should be maybe some kind of in-game perks for going for prolonged periods of time without your ship sinking? Do you think that maybe if you come across another boat and you look at that boat maybe with your scope,
like if there was like a shipbuilder, like a ship quartermaster or something, and like if you got a little bit of experience every time you repaired a ship or the longer a ship survived, like you could earn maybe new paint jobs or new sail designs. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool because it could coincide with something else that would be cool. So have all these different factions that you can level up, and it's come up in conversation. We played with Justin earlier today, and he's like, "Why can I not get experience or reputation for all these ships that we're sinking or all these players that we're killing?" So it would be cool to have.
We do kill a lot of them.
We do. And we take the loots, all the loots. So it'd be cool if maybe there was like a separate reputation builder that you could get reputation for sinking ships, or if it could recognize stolen treasure. And then Beastly, you could get a bonus to your reputation if you haven't gotten your ship sunk or any treasure stolen or anything of that sort. So that would kind of coincide with what you were saying, but not.
I'm also thinking though that if you're pursuing another ship, another group of pirates, and you scan their ship maybe with your scope on a particular setting, you can see how long that ship has been sink free or how long they've been on this course without going down. And
the ability to name your ship so that you could look at that and be like, "Oh, they see us."
There is like over the captain's quarter, there is a plaque.
Okay, but like I want to see that somewhere on the side of the ship so that when they see us coming and they go
know
in
it's you. Yeah.
Oh shit! It's just the tip.
Just the tip.
The tip.
Just the tip. There's a barrel on the front of that son of a
You gotta
bitch.
spell it like just with like an apostrophe. Like stupid fucking
Just
boat
the
people
tip.
do.
Yeah.
I got another
like
one.
It's
fleets. I would like to be able to take over somebody else's ship. I would like to make that ship my own. I don't know how the mechanic would work for that. Maybe like I have to like hold on to that ship, be able
for a period of time.
for a period
I think
of time.
like a Destiny control point, like any other capture the flag. If you were on that thing uncontested for a certain period of time, it just kind of became yours. That worked.
Yeah, maybe like the bridge, or I don't know what that point would be. Yeah, that mechanic actually works to me. But I would love that because like being able to take over a ship, because I think it almost takes more skill to take a ship over than it does to sink it, right?
Yes.
To be able to take over somebody's ship, and now instead of one ship, my crew has 2 ships.
Shit.
How fun would that be, right?
I get to captain the other ship. Fuck Gary. All right.
I mean,
I'm with you, Willie.
I'm looking at you in that dress, and I'm willing to say yes to whatever you want.
I definitely agree, especially if you could like sell the ship. If you could then get it back to port and then sell it to the Merchant Alliance.
Oh, if you could
Like,
sell a
that's it,
ship.
mate. Like, I've got
Like
this ship.
the player
that I
doesn't
found,
lose
like-
anything but like their cannonballs and their planks and their bananas, and maybe like the value that you get for the ship is how many cosmetic upgrades they had on it, or maybe how much stuff they had on board. Depends on how much you get paid. So they don't really lose anything. You could still spawn in a new ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, that'd be cool, man. I'd be down for that. again, it's that, like Briar said, that Destiny 1 feel of add it, I'm down. Like,
Yeah,
capture
it's
the
so wide
zone, I
open.
think, works as well, because people could, like, when they respawn, they've got another chance to interrupt your capture, and if they can fight to get you, or if, you know, if they see that your ship is being captured, they can get back and try to contest that point.
Yeah.
I think that works, you know.
Or they could be trying to take over your ship while you're taking over
Yeah.
their ship. You know, like
You swap ships.
yeah. I don't know. That'd be a lot of fun. I think it'd be something fun to add. But man, like I have this dream of like having like a pirate fleet. You know, it'd just be
Ooh.
so much fun.
Briar at the front of the fleet with the red beard and the wind.
So
Will
are
Does it sound
Saint
like
you
fun?
thinking-
Wench bringing him his ale.
Right now, the max you can play as a team is 4 players. Do you guys think that they should possibly in the future add some, you know, maybe 5 or 6 or 8 players? Because in order to have a fleet, you're going to need more than 4 players.
I'll be honest with you. The galleon, unless you're like being super like diligent, every crew member's being super diligent about their job, the galleon with 4 players is kind of a pain in the dick.
A little bit. It could use a 5th.
Yeah, it could use a 5th. Like I find the most fun I have in this game right now is actually playing 2 players on a sloop, because the ship is easier to control. You're much more maneuverable. You get shit done faster. With the galleon, like the anchor is slower, navigating is slower, turning is slower. It's just going and adjusting all 3 sails is slower. And if you got one guy who's just kind of like, maybe he's super into, I don't know, shooting himself out of the cannon, and another guy is new to the game. You know, he's new to the game. He doesn't know to be looking at the sails all the time. The galleon could just be somewhat overwhelming unless you're like everybody's really kind of on the job.
No, we didn't really hit this too much, but the Metacritic score is what, 68 for this game.
68.
Do you guys
Harsh.
do you guys think that's a harsh judgment, or do you understand it? And do you think that, you know, in the future this will go up with maybe updates
think
and
that's
changes to the game?
I think that's the people who go into it. Like, here's the deal. Like, I played the beta. I know a lot of people did, or you know, a lot of people had the option to. You know what I mean? All you had to do was pre-order. You could cancel at any time. But
Mhm.
anyway, I went into the beta and was happy with it. I was hoping that there was more, but Destiny has taught me to temper the hell out of my expectations.
Remember last week,
So
Destiny done fucked it up.
I expected nothing more than what was in the beta.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to do. I had to tell myself that I wasn't interested in this game, that I had other things to do, knowing that I was going to play the shit out of it when it came out because I had a blast in the beta. But I wasn't expecting there to be anything more in the beta. It's your choose your own adventure game. If you're having no fun in this game, try getting some friends in. If you still don't have fun, then it's not for you. I totally understand how the single player experience could be off-putting, and you know, just look at it as you're going to be getting cosmetics. Like Gary said, there's nothing that's going to tilt the power fantasy in that case, but you could make your own fun and adventures out of this. It's a blast.
Yeah, it's a platform to play on more than it is a game. I think that this game was massively helped, at least in my mind. The value proposition was massively helped by Game Pass. And if you don't know what Xbox Game Pass is, it's a subscription fee for Microsoft that works out to $10 a month, lets you play, I think, over 100 Microsoft games or Microsoft and third-party games. And all Microsoft first-party games will be released day and date on Game Pass. So the first one that this happened for was Sea of Thieves. So for argument's sake, you're getting to play Sea of Thieves plus 99 other titles for a whole month for $10.
During its peak player population.
Yeah. So to me, and I know that there's the argument that you never own it, and you know, obviously that's $10 that you've lost after the month because you never see it again. But I mean, it's
if you
it's
buy
$10.
more than 2 games a year, though,
yeah,
like this is a fucking bargain.
Yeah,
If you're planning on buying Sea of Thieves and, you know, one other Xbox
State of
game,
Decay or whatever.
State of Decay, I think it's going to be $30. That's $90 right there. That's only another $30 to have 100 other games kind of on your ready to play.
Forza,
I always compare it to
whatever
going to
comes
the.
out, you know.
I always compare it to going to the movies. You're gonna spend way more. You're gonna have 2-ish hours of entertainment, and then you go home. I know movies aren't for everyone. It's like I haven't been to a movie theater in a while. I think the last movie I went and saw was the original Jurassic Park in 3D.
Nice.
So, but you know, you gotta look at it that way. You know, $10 for an entire month's worth of entertainment. If you want to, you could sleep 2 hours a day and play that game the entire time for a month if you can swing it. You know what I mean? Like, so that's a huge value.
It's even greater than that though. It's like the Play Anywhere. There's tons of games in this list from Game Pass or Play Anywhere. So I downloaded Gears of War 4 for the PC. That's on here. I downloaded 4 games total. Sea of Thieves, Gears of War, Halo Wars 2. That's Play Anywhere, and Recore. I got all 4 of those on the PC, and these are all games I'd never even played before. And that's for $10 too. Yeah, $10. I mean, you really cannot beat that.
Going back to the 68 Metascore too, is the Metacritic score is 68. I think it's important to know what this game is. And when we played the beta, I did as much research as I could about what this game was and realized how vague Rare was being about what was going to be in this game. They talked about it in very broad terms. They like to show screenshots of it, but not actually say what was going to be in it. They like to allude to the Kraken. They like to allude to being a legendary pirate, but they didn't actually. There's no campaign in this game. There's 3 quest givers, also all of which end up giving very repetitive quests over time. The quests, in my mind, are the thing you do to set you off to sea and start your adventure, right? I can't tell you how many times I've gone out to sea looking for a golden chicken, and this happened. We never even found the fucking golden chicken. We never even went to the island that had the golden chicken on it.
It's like going to Walmart.
Those sharks that blew up the explosive barrels, remember those?
Yeah, those are.
Or JB Mega was swimming back to the boat. Briar was looking at him through. He was looking at him through a sniper scope, just because it was easier. That he'd have to get out his collapsible telescope, but the sniper rifle was there, so he was taking a look, not shooting. Not shooting.
And then shark came and bit his fucking barrel. And
then, while we were sailing away, another shark took one off the front of our boat, set it next to Briar, and set it off. Killed all of our chickens in the captain's quarters.
All of our chickens got killed. All of them. We had to go back and get new chickens.
Rip the chickens. I got one last topic before we move on and transition.
Yeah.
And this is something that leans into your wanting to have your own fleet, wanting to be Admiral Briar. And this is something that I think is a glaring omission. And I think that the Metacritic score might be higher long term if this was in there. I can't understand why there's not a clan, company, or guild system in this game whatsoever. This, to me, is a game that my last suggestion lent on the fact this needs social players, this needs role play, this needs friends, this needs people to play with to be its best. The stories that you guys have told are just stories that would not happen if you're playing solo, or they might happen, but you've got no one to tell about them. It's just you. So my view is, why not make a heavy investment clan system? So something that, call it clan, call it pirate companies, and you are the pirate kings, the founders of your company. So if you've ever played like, what's the game, Uncharted 4, you got the founders of Libertalia, and you've got these pirates that come together and they invest huge amounts of money to create these things. It could be like you all sign the pirate charter to start the Warren, let's say, the Briar Rabbits. That's it, the company of pirates. And you need all 4 of us to come together and chip 100,000 gold apiece in to get this charter signed. And this allows us to recruit pirates into our crew, so you can get the clan tag of, the Warren, or the Briar Rabbits, whatever, and this could bring benefits. So you could actually have the Warren as an NPC quest giver. Not that we're setting the quest, but there's a fourth faction now, which is your own pirate faction. So and these might be slightly higher rewarding quests. The benefit for you as a captain and why you do it is that you've got the notoriety of being the leader of this huge pirate company, so the social aspect. And again, I've seen this in other MMOs like Anarchy Online, where you can charge a tax to your clan or your guildmates. So when they complete a voyage, you might say, I want 5% or 10%. So you set what that's going to be, and then people decide if yours is worth staying there. Other benefits that I saw are something that you could have of being in a company is the whole base building thing. So you could create a company headquarters as opposed to an individual player one. So this is a company clan, so it's a place to hang out. So when you sign into the game, it puts you in this place, and anyone else that signs into the game,
for your clan.
like a social, like the tower,
a clan hub
to the clan hub, and it's a place to say, you know, you can start voyages from there, you can get groups in there. And the second thing that I thought would be really cool is something like a Monster Hunter SOS flare that other clanmates can respond to. So if you're a little tiny vessel and you're on your own and you get shot on by a galleon, or you see a skullfort there, you could send up a clan SOS or a pirate company SOS, and then everyone else in there gets an alert if they're playing. This person needs assistance. Do you want to join? And you could just go in and help them out and stuff. I don't know. I mean, there's just some ideas I'm throwing to start the conversation, but do you guys feel like it lacking a clan system is damaging the game long term?
Well, I think it would add to the game long term if that were implemented. Like, it didn't occur to me until you started talking about how much I would enjoy that. But
yep,
you put it in his mind, Gary.
I didn't miss it, but now I want to buy it.
It's Destiny 1.
It's so new that I think that, you know, it's kind of hard to judge it right now. It's like, you know, you couldn't really judge Destiny, you know, the week of release compared to what it was a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later.
What I mean about damaging it, and why I wanted to you guys to dig into that, was we have to disintermediate our experience of Sea of Thieves with the average person. So picture yourself that you didn't know any of us, and you're trying to get attachment of long-term players and people that are going to come back and want to play this game once a week. You know, on a Friday night, this is the game that they play. Without a clan system being there and a way to meet friends and way to keep meeting the same people and keep talking to the same people, it's very difficult to get that engagement. So that's why I'm trying to get into, do you think it's damaging?
Imagining a world where I don't know you guys is the most heartbreaking thing.
Kill
I can
myself.
only picture myself like going onto YouTube and finding like political videos that I disagree with and just typing shit up in their comments and just, you know, just an awful fucking world.
Really? Because you imagined it right before the show when you guys trolled the shit out of me.
I just want people, out there. I want people to meet the same friends that we've met. We did this through, you know, Twitch communities, which is an extension. It's a virtual clan, and playing with people like that. I think random matchmaking voyages and vessels do not do the same thing. No. I think the ability to join a clan and have the same 30 motherfuckers every week that you play with and you see, and that, you know, I know Briar because Briar's our fucking pirate king, you know, and it's, oh my god, the pirate king's in the lobby, you know, he's in the headquarters, you know, you've got that note.
Paparazzi.
It's that kind of thing. Like, you are the pirate king and you're in the head. To me, I think the game is going to suffer long term because it doesn't have that. It doesn't have a community building aspect, which is so important to this game.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's the final ruling, Gary, or they're fucked.
That was kind of the big part of D1, though, that kind of carried it, was the clan system, man. Like, you know, if we're going back on this reminds me of Destiny vaguely, you know, loosely sort of thing. The clan system carried D1. I mean, dude, I got on because my clan was on. Didn't matter what we were doing. I just wanted to be hanging out with them, talking shit, and having fun, you know? So
I want to actually address what you and Ash have been talking about in chat a little bit. Ash had the suggestion of he thought it'd be better if it was a free game, but had like paid skins or paid, you know, cosmetic items. And I gotta say, I'm much happier buying a game for $60 and having earnable items in it than having a free game that I gotta pay for the items for, because knowing my cheap ass, I'm not gonna buy any of those items, and I'm not gonna have any reason to like grind in the game. Whereas, even though like looking into this game beforehand, I was like, I'm not gonna want to grind for a fucking peg leg. Actually, I get into the game and I get a peg leg. I'm like, ooh, look at my peg leg! I'm a fucking pirate.
Look at my dress.
Look
at my dreads. Look at my eye patch.
Got dreadlocks now. He looks amazing.
I look like a hippie ass pirate. It's so good.
He looks like the Jesus pirate.
Justin was like, "You look like a broke ass Jesus pirate."
So your character has dreads now. I mean, you look like a
He's got dreads. He's got a dread beard. He's got an eye patch that's an Ace of Spades card, and then he's got a dress. I've wanted to take it a step further.
He's got Birkenstocks.
Yeah. It really ties the outfit together.
It does.
I almost don't want to take it a step further.
Sounds like it.
Because Gary talks about like the role play, you know what I mean? You get on a boat and like, you know, the captain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't get on there and say, oh, is he the captain or is he the captain? You know what I mean? Like, I got to play the part of wench, and if that means wearing a dress, then fuck it.
Play
I want
your
that.
roles.
I really want the role. Like, I'd love the idea of the Pirate Kings. You know, the 4 founders, and imagine how hype that would be if you ended up finding one of them and going on a voyage with one of the founders of your pirate company,
That'd
and
be
you're
amazing.
like the navigator. It would just be like, you know, I don't know. I want the pirate fantasy. I love the game.
So we still
we
don't
could
really
talk
know
about
what
it
the
all night.
legendary pirates are going to be, right?
This might be answered in those things. And I mean, there's been streamers that have been mainlining this game, like King Athalion, shouting him out because I know him from the community. You know, there might be others, but I think he's really far into the game. He's like in the 40s, isn't he? And each of the,
Yeah.
and he's not a legendary pirate yet. So for the average player, that's a long-term grind to get to that
Yeah.
thing, I'd guess.
And then once you level up, we still don't know if there's going to be like skill-based quests that you got to do to become legendary. Like we really don't know what the end game is going to be like, which also bothers me about those scores. Is like, how do you score a game when you can't possibly have played the whole game?
No.
True. It's
But
like
yeah,
judging
that's-
Destiny before doing the raid. Oh!
Yeah,
Sorry,
that was a big debacle. Very
All right,
true.
let's stop talking about Sea of Thieves. Talk about something else.
I think we should talk about why I'm drinking so heavily tonight. And
Let's
that,
talk about that.
Yeah.
that is, I mean, I've got my buzz on. I'm feeling a little bit lively, and that is because this week, PlayStation España officially confirmed that the PlayStation Vita had been discontinued.
Pour one out. I'm not
That's
going to
it.
pour this on my
Pillow
lap. You
for-
thought I was going
pillow
to, but
I'm just,
that's awful.
I'm letting that message resonate. I'm also letting Beastly bastardize the moment with his.
Oh, he's got the
cheap
yobo.
tats.
It's been
I need
too
someone
long
to hold
since
my
we've
head
seen
up.
the Yobo.
Look at him caress it. It was a good day. It was a victory for the yobo.
It's
Well,
never too long
Another
never
Sony
too long.
platform.
to see that logo, Yobo.
Yobo
Um,
España, here we come.
That
So-
actually is it is sad news. I got my Vita a week before anybody else in America. There was the early edition bundle back in 2011,
You
and
robbed the truck that was delivering them.
no, it was $900 at Best Buy for Kate and my.
Oh,
Yeah, for both of them. We got both of them. They came with. We bought Uncharted. I got the early edition box right there.
and
It
look
came with
how many minutes you spent on that final system.
200 minutes max.
200 minutes.
Say more or
Fuck
less.
you,
I
man.
doubt I didn't spend that much, to be totally honest. But it could have been great, and I understand it's great to you, Gary. It just wasn't what I wanted it to be. And for anything I spent prolonged periods of time on playing, it's always sad to see him go out the door. But I think, I'm one of those optimists. I believe that Sony's not done with its portable ventures. I think that what Nintendo has done here with the Switch is kind of revitalized the thought that you can make a portable console, make it mainstream, and make it successful. Sony's tried it, and
You
they've
use
had
those
success.
words. I would say light a fire under the competitor's ass would be the words that I would use. With
Absolutely.
So that's the angle that I wanted to take on this one. So I am a scorned ex-girlfriend here of the PlayStation Vita. I can't believe Sony have done this to me, frankly.
Gary's
I'm
driving by
hurt.
Sony headquarters late at night, parking out front, being
Looking
that
in the
crazy ass
windows.
ex-girlfriend. Who you with?
Is the Vita 2 in
win.
there?
What hurts,
You making
what
deals with
hurts me
Epic
more,
Games?
Huh? I can deal with the fact that they did my Vita this dirty. But what I can't abide is what this means for the PlayStation 5. And that's what I really want this topic to be about. So a bit of fun around the PlayStation Vita and them kicking it to the curb like a $2 hoe. But what I really care about is the unique proposition that was remote play. So every single PS4 game was mandated by Sony had to have remote play. Now, remote play can be accessed in 2 ways, or 3 ways. That's your mobile phone, if you've got a Sony handheld or an Android and know how to hack. That is through the PC, using the remote play application or program.
I didn't
Or
know
lastly,
that.
the-
You could do that?
You could do it at the PC.
Why would you
So
remote
can-
play on PC though? You'd want to remote play where you're. Sorry, continue.
You just
Remote play
remote
works.
play
HDMI
into a
cables, man.
window.
You know,
Anywhere.
I'm swimming in a fucking lake of HDMI cables.
It just the concept is that you could have a
It's
laptop.
Scene from Indiana
um,
Jones with all the snakes in the pit.
Concept
But
is you
Gary,
could have a laptop
the issue,
open.
the issue with remote play is this: nobody used it.
You
What-
say
what-
that.
It's-
Incorrect. I had lots of friends who loved farming Spirit Bloom whilst taking a
Yeah.
deuce.
We can't say no one used it. We don't know the stats on usage. And the fact that Sony have mandated it on every single one of their games shows that there is still at least a desire to continue. They could have, knowing how the Vita went, they could have said, actually, do you know what? Remote play is now optional. They've also doubled down. Like I said, they introduced remote play to a PC and laptop, so you can now remote play on there. Sony have really added that, and that's something that Xbox don't have. So the point here was that the Xbox One has smart glass. It doesn't have a second screen proposition. I can play on my TV. Most households are a single TV household. If I'm trying to play a video game and my significant other wants to watch sport or watch a TV show, I've got to then sacrifice my game time while they've got to sacrifice their entertainment. I don't have a second screen option. PlayStation offered that both through Vita, your mobile phone, or the PC screen. The Nintendo Switch has shown that people want handheld console quality gaming. So the November 2017 financial briefing for Nintendo showed that more people use their Switch exclusively handheld than use it exclusively docked.
Absolutely.
If you look at the mix, 80% of people use it either exclusively handheld or a mixture of the two. Only 20% of people use their Switch exclusively.
You're really pissed off.
I am. I'm really frustrated.
Chinese knockoff.
I bet you use your Switch more than 20% of the time. You know what I'm saying?
Switch.
Yeah. Remember that knockoff Wii? There was like a knockoff
Conversation
Wii
point.
called the like Me or something, or not Me. What was it? It was clever, more clever spelling with Wii, but that would be the knockoff Switch. Yeah,
The conversation point that I'd like us to head off and start the debate on is, what do we think this means for the PS5? So if they abandon remote play, they're giving up a hell of a lot of headway to the competitors. Does this mean we're going to see a Vita 2 to take on, a dedicated remote play role?
I think that's
Last
probably
point.
reality.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Sony can cede the handheld space to Nintendo. So they're the three options, and happy for you guys to tell me where I'm wrong.
I have a question and a confession.
Go for it.
I missed the PS Vita train.
Have you been watching anime too?
I missed the PS
said like
Vita
he was
train,
really
so
fucked up,
I've
too.
never owned a Vita, as Gary would say.
Get out.
And my question is it too late to get one? Like, is the height
The
of
problem is Gary's going to disagree with me on this. I know
He
he
will.
is. But the problem is there's just not a lot of software for it. Like, the games, I feel like the games that are out there are super niche and are mostly playable on other platforms.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I agree 100%. I mean,
It
if
depends
it's something
what
you
games
want to
you play.
collect colors, and if you like, more JRPG style games and maybe indies, then I would say, possibly look at it. But at this point in time, there's so many other options and better options, frankly, than the Vita. I don't know what the numbers are as far as people who use remote play, but Sony has always been a company that throws out user numbers. The fact that they've never thrown out those numbers should be a telling thing. I have four or five Vitas in this house, and I think I've used remote play once or twice. There's just so many. Would you rather use remote play or use your cell phone? I mean, to me, it all depends on what people, are more comfortable with. And for
It never
me,
really
My
worked
cell
well
phone.
for me. When I
Me
tried
neither.
to use it off of Wi-Fi, it never really
Never
worked well
worked.
for me.
yeah, it was always like I played Destiny on it when Destiny first came out.
And
it was-
and the fact that you didn't have two triggers up top on the Vita, like you had to use the touchpad to simulate a trigger.
Yeah, that's really horrible. Yeah.
I hope they
Gary?
make a Vita 2 though. Like I would love to see a Vita 2. I'd like to see him take another shot at it. I'd like to see him try again to integrate the games between the Vita platform, the handheld platform, and the console platform. I think they've taken steps in that direction. I'd love to see him really, put the hammer down. If it, I don't know if it's a wise move. It's such a daunting. Like if you're looking at that from the outside, right? I thought this when they were releasing the PS Vita. I said, "What the fuck are you doing? It's stupid." But it's because it's such a daunting industry to get into. Is Nintendo dominates there with the 3DS and now the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Somebody went to buy a
And
3DS over the weekend.
You've also
True.
you're also in a market that's being completely taken over by cell phones. So mobile gaming is now the biggest gaming market in the world, right? So like you're gonna ask people to buy a device that's probably not as powerful or as nice a device as the cell phone they already own, because you can't possibly have it subsidized like you do with phones, right? You're asking them to carry 2 devices now, one of which is going to be this gaming device, and it's not as capable as the phone in their pocket already.
True.
It's hard to justify that.
And the Switch has managed it.
I think
the Switch dominated that. Yeah, that's absolutely.
Switch has a couple of things to over that, though, is that they have like the home, the home connectivity. Also, they have Nintendo first party software.
Yeah.
And Sony has good first party software, and but they don't have Mario. you know what I mean?
And another thing the Switch has, Briar, is they have actual console quality games on the go. I mean, it's very hard.
I don't feel like the Vita ever hit that goal, right?
It didn't. They tried so hard. Uncharted, Golden Abyss, yeah, I think that was console quality.
I don't think so. I disagree.
We can
love
agree to
Uncharted.
disagree.
I loved Uncharted. I love the series. That game I could not play through. Like, I found the controls to be just too frustrating.
This is not really a topic so much.
Okay.
It's not really a topic so much in defense of Vita as it is a topic in defense of remote play and them losing a capability which I think differentiates them from the competition. And
they could do it better. It'd be awesome.
We could argue about usage stats, but ultimately it's still a feature that you're losing, and it's a feature that has been expanded upon, and it must be. I mean, yes, you'd still have it on mobile, and yes, you'd still have it on PC, but you're losing a peripheral with buttons and a way to play games.
But if they just enabled it via an app on Android and iPhone,
which they do at the moment.
I don't like my iPhone though. I don't like my phone. I use it for social media and phone calls and messages.
YouTube.
So I can play my PlayStation on iPhone?
Yes.
I'd rather not. I'd rather go play Fortnite mobile or PUBG mobile against
I mean, to be
bots.
totally honest, that's what all the cool kids are doing right now anyway.
Do you guys think
Fortnite,
that mobile
PUBG.
gaming is successful because people like it or because people are on the go more than they are
just convenience?
That's what I'm saying. I think it's more of a convenience thing. If you made a proper portable gaming system, like honestly, I'd like to see Razer make something other than like a phone that can do games. I'd like to see them make like
a portable console,
like a PS, like a Vita, so to speak. But like if they made a Vita 2, one huge benefit of that would be the competition from Nintendo, because when there's competitions between 2 companies and Nintendo's going unchecked right now, we win.
All right, I know we're bastardizing your topic, Gary, and you're mad that we don't want to talk about remote play. But I do want to.
It's fine. You've taken the Vita from me this week. You can take remote play from me today. I've lost my pink DS. It's been a week of loss, okay? I'm willing to deal with it. The topic continues.
But what would they have to do to sell you on another Sony console? Like, what do they have to do? What does Sony have to do? So imagine, I don't think they're going to do this, but imagine that this E3, they say, okay, we got the follow-up to the Vita. It's coming out this November, and here are its features. What does it do that makes you go, I think I'm going to buy that?
For me, if you were specifically asking for my features there, I think it needs to be backward and forward compatible. So it needs to remote play PS4 games, remote play PS5 games, because I want it to be a second screen. This for me doesn't just need to be an isolated platform. It needs to be something that's going to synchronize with my home entertainment system. It needs to have a real feeling controller. So what the Switch does well is that it's the same controller that I use for docked mode as I use in portable. So they need to expand the control set there. And for me, the games don't even necessarily need to be groundbreaking, but they do need to be desirable games. So don't give me knockoff Uncharted. Don't give me knockoff Killzone, knockoff Call of Duty. Like, I don't want to see that. I want to see games that work on a handheld. So what I think Nintendo did really well was things like, now moving Captain Toad Treasure Tracker over, and things like Mario Kart, or Mario Kart as you call it, games that work well on that portable device. I think would be really cool. Or do the Switch route and give me a lot of PS4 ports. So just give me PS4 ports with, if this comes out in sync with the PS5, give me a load of games that I used to play on the PS4, but now I've got a portable version of it. 100% portable. Bloodborne on the go.
Oh shit! I would do that. I would play Bloodborne on the go. The game I played most on my Vita was Guacamelee.
It's a great game.
Yeah.
What
But
game
with
have you
real
logged the most hours
sticks,
in on your Vita, Gary?
R2, L2.
Yeah, real sticks and real D-pad and real buttons.
What have I logged the most hours on? Probably God Eater 2 or Freedom Wars. But that's just my taste.
What about like if they could put Fortnite, like the console version of Fortnite, on
a handheld?
Yeah, and
I want that on Switch. I heard there's rumors it's coming to Switch.
Yeah,
I think that would be
happening.
freaking awesome. I think
I
that would
really
be
do think that's
amazing.
happening.
If you could get things like Fortnite working well on something other than a cell phone, I'd be interested. You know what I mean? I hate my cell phone. I've never liked cell phones.
But it works well on cell phones. I mean,
does it though? Like, because
it runs well.
It runs well, but does it control? Like, do I feel that I'm constantly in control?
Touch controls are always going to be subpar to.
That's what I'm saying. Like, because when you
but the Switch doesn't have that issue. So if it can scale well to a cell phone, it'll have no issue scaling to the Tegra 1X.
All right. Yes. So imagine this. Imagine a product. Sony unveils it at E3, or maybe they unveil it somewhere else. That is essentially a cell phone, but it's got a dock that has the two joysticks, the four, the four triggers, the four buttons, and the D-pad. So, most days you're just gonna carry around your Sony phone, and maybe it looks something like the Razer phone, where it's got a 120 hertz display. It's got a high power chip in it. But when for the hardcore gamers or the people who want to play a little bit of Fortnite while they're at the DMV, you plug it into this dock that you don't have to carry around all the time, but when you do carry it around, like, it's there for you. I could see something like that. I don't know if it'd be successful. I don't know if it'd be a huge thing.
I feel like you're halfway there in terms of what I think could be successful. I think making a unique item doesn't work. I think having something that docks to a phone works.
Yeah.
I think if Sony made the new Remote Play or the new Vita 2 is just the fact that they're doubling down on mobile technology. Yeah. So they're going to release let's say a container that sits on your iPhone, so that the PlayStation app will now have dedicated games you can purchase that will work through the PlayStation app on your phone, and you could plug in a DualShock 4 that's effectively just, or DualShock 5 that's split, it just clips in, what's the thing, like accordion style, just stretches out to whichever phone you put in it, clamps in, feels nice and tight, and feels like a PlayStation on an iPhone, on an Android, Samsung, whatever.
The hard thing about that, right, is that they can't control your hardware experience. So you'd have to have like a minimum spec for, like, if you're buying an Android, it has to be like this Snapdragon processor or newer. If you have an iPhone, it's got to be an iPhone 6 or newer. But yeah, I could see them doing something like that. And the PlayStation Vita 2 is not a hardware device; it's a controller that snaps onto your existing cell phone and an app store.
Software as a service, I guess that's what it
is. To me, that's a disaster.
They can't do it on iPhone because you can't sell anything on iPhone without getting Apple a cut. But you can do it on Android pretty easily.
I got two words that may make you rethink everything that you just said. 2 words: battery life.
Yeah, true.
And bad idea. Look, Sony already dealt.
You can put a battery in the controller.
Put a battery in the controller, but like, dude, your cell phone right now, like a new cell phone, people are saying on these PUBG and Fortnite mobile games, they're getting 1 game in before their cell phone is low on battery. These are
but you can put a battery in the controller.
Look, Sony already ventured out and tried the cell phone thing. They had the PlayStation phone, they had the Xperia phones that played games. I don't think that would be a wise venture for Sony at all.
That's not what we were really talking about, right? You had one of those, and I remember you showing it to us, and it looked like a regular phone. There's nothing that said like this phone plays games.
Yeah, that was a newer version. The older version slid open with the actual tactile controller, and for all intents and purposes, it was a fail. I think that going in that direction and trying to be a jack of all trades would be a huge blunder on Sony's part. Gary keeps talking about remote play. I don't think the remote play is the issue. I think that being able to play meaningful games on the go is the issue. The Nintendo Switch is not a remote play system. It's a system that plays console quality games on the go or on your TV, and it seems to work. People seem to be gravitating towards it. People, like 80% of the people who own the Switch, play this thing on the go because it's something we don't normally see. I think if Sony were to go in that direction, they've already got the IPs, maybe not as big and as magnanimous as Nintendo's IPs, but if Sony were to create a Vita 2 that was powerful enough to play PlayStation 4 style games on the go and then be able to still adapt to your television, similar to the Switch, I think that's all they would need to do. Gary,
I wonder if now that the PlayStation 4 is a few years old, if they could actually shrink that thing down to be handheld. Well, you say that like you know, but you don't know.
Well, I do know because Doom is on a portable.
He's knocked it up in his garage the other day.
That's completely different hardware, man. That's an Android.
He's got
processor.
Linus Tech Tips on the phone. It's possible.
It's existing hardware. It's already been shown to work. It's out there for the consumer, and it exists. Sony can definitely do it.
The PlayStation Switch is built on Android or Snapdragon processor, right? The same thing you'd find in an Android phone. The PlayStation 4 is not built off of that.
Well, I mean, there's PlayStation games that are still on portable devices
because you can run the same game on different devices doesn't mean that you can shrink down a PlayStation 4 to the size of a Switch.
Yeah, but see, the thing is, you can't prove a negative, and so saying that this theoretical thing can or can't happen, we really can't say because we don't know what Sony's working on.
You made a statement that they could do that.
I'm talking about
that you don't know that.
I'm talking about existing hardware. We've already seen PlayStation quality games on a portable system. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that this can happen. I'm not saying that Sony's going to port down and shrink their actual same chipset into a portable device. I'm saying that we've seen games running on PlayStation 4 and Xbox Ones get ported down to a portable console. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
The biggest issue if you
plays on a Switch, but it plays at half the frame rate it does on PlayStation.
The biggest issue, if you follow any handheld news, is not about shrinking technology. You know, in terms of microprocessing, you can make everything very small. They could definitely make a PlayStation fit into the form factor of a Switch if they wanted to. That's not the issue. It's cooling. Cooling is always the issue on anything. Is how do you cool that chipset under stress? And that's one of the reasons that the PlayStation is so fucking big, is that you need that space, you need airflow, you need fans, you need other things that go through. I think if PlayStation could make their devices slimmer and smaller from a cost-effective perspective and strap a screen to it as well, they would. I just think it's not something that can be
costs, man. Cooling leads to costs. You know, it really does. Like, there's a lot of extra parts on a PlayStation that are just for cooling. So
it's just not easy.
They're getting better though. I mean, look in the course of 2 years, the original Xbox One. Now we look at the Xbox One X after the S, and we look at the form factor of those and how much cooling has changed in the course of 2.5 years. You know, the PlayStation Vita came out 6 years ago. 7 years ago. I'm sorry.
Do you guys think that, like, honestly, like, do you guys think that they're going to make another portable Sony?
I do.
I think they have to. I think somebody's got to compete with Nintendo, man. That market can't go unchecked.
Well, Apple, I would argue Apple and Google are competing with Nintendo now.
Yeah. I would say in their own way they are, but Nintendo has its own niche.
I would say indirectly. Like, yes, it's a gaming, and
it's
yes,
passive.
They're going up against, but they're not. I literally don't think mobile companies are saying, how can we steal money from big video game company like Big Tobacco? You know what I mean? Like, or
no, they don't have to.
True. Like, that's what I'm saying. It's
like,
indirect
it's not a big enough
competition.
market for them to be concerned about.
It's indirect competition, though. They're not saying,
passive,
how do we get people off PlayStation and on mobile? They say, how do we get people on mobile when they're not on PlayStation? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know, because I watched like a Apple press conference and they got like video games up on that stage and they're showing the gaming prowess, and they're unveiling like, you know, new versions of the Metal SDK and how much better it's going to make games, and they're showing like these AR games where you're playing like this real-time strategy game on the table in front of you using AR. Like, that shit.
I think
that shit
QC in
directly
chat
with Nintendo, I'd say.
I think QC in chat asked the burning question: when is Elon Musk going to make a console?
If it doesn't have a flamethrower attached, I'm not buying it.
As much as it breaks my tender little heart to say, I don't think Sony is going to step into the mobile or portable space again. If I'm being honest, I feel like they've got a damn good thing going with the PlayStation 4. I think they know it, and I think that's where they double down. I think they look at what Switch has and what Switch can do potentially, and Switch is never going to be able to compete with them on the home gaming experience, go toe-to-toe on 4K, big screen, God of War, Uncharted style. It can't do it. Cannot do it. I think if you try to go toe to toe with Switch, you're going to lose. If you try to meet them in the mobile space, Switch is better at that. I think they're not going to do it. I feel like, and this is kind of where my topic comes full circle, is that Sony is going to concede that remote play portable aspect in the next generation and really focus on giving you the best home console games that it possibly can do. And that's where it's going to suffocate Xbox and then not share a market with Switch.
They've done a good job in the VR space. They're by far the best-selling VR headset right now. And I think Fantios in chat makes a good look, seeing them go for a VR play in the future, or maybe an AR play, where maybe they take their experience with the VR headset and they start looking at AR for the future, which is very portable and very fun. Imagine putting on your Sony AR glasses, and all of a sudden, when you look around, you see,
a stripper.
your favorite
Dragons coming, dragons coming out of the fountain that you got to battle or something.
Your favorite Sony characters, or maybe you play a fighting game with a guy that you're actually fighting against.
There was a cell phone game, kind of like Pokemon Go, that I forget what it was called, but basically you would be traveling, you'd be in the middle of the mall, and you'd pop your camera out and you'd be looking around and everything looked normal, and all of a sudden you turn around and there would be a dragon there, and you'd walk up to it and you'd start battling it, and pretty soon you'd look over and there'd be 4 or 5 other people on their phone like, yo, y'all get this motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Like, that type of shit's really cool, man.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so I could see it maybe going in that direction, sort of thing. I'm down with AR.
What should we do for our next topic?
Well, we have the NVIDIA GeForce Partner Program, but I feel like we need quite a bit of more than 15 minutes to probably explain that.
Man, I want to poop all over that thing too. Like, I really want to take a hot dump on that.
We still have 3 other topics.
You got away with words, man. You got away with words.
We do have 3 other topics other than that, though, too.
Jesus Christ. What have we been doing all show?
So maybe we should skip.
Our intro, Briar.
Maybe we should
It's
skip.
just been a blur to me. Since I lost that pink DS, the rest of the time this weekend is just blurred.
I'm just happy there even is a show. Sons of bitches. So we could talk about the NVIDIA program another time. The other 3 topics we could probably skate through close to the 15-20 minute mark.
All right.
So Dream Tech is next, Beasley.
If you could have any technology that may or may not be in existence, what would you choose and how would you use it? Dream technology.
Technology.
I've had some thoughts. And when I first read this, my mind went back to, I had a wonderful idea as a kid. It's already been stolen, as I'm sure I told it to somebody, and they're making millions now. But this isn't really this isn't my answer. This was just what came to mind at first, and I had to refine it because you said technology. I always said colored tabled salt, so you can see how much you're putting on certain fucking foods, like mashed potatoes, white salt and white. I feel like that would be a great invention, but somebody's already done it. But if we're talking technology,
that's fucking brilliant, man.
It's done. It's been done. I had this idea in like 2nd, 3rd grade, and I got online and looked at it a minute ago, and I'm fucking pissed. Like, I'm not happy. I know Roger. I'm not going to say his last name to protect him. Roger, I know you stole my fucking idea. Anyway, what I'm going to go with.
Brilliant.
What I'm going to go with is a dream recorder, something to record your dreams. You ever wake up and you remember your dream and you're like, man, that was fucked up. And then you get in the shower and it's gone.
Yeah.
Gone.
Stolen.
It impacted you so much from the moment that you woke up to the shower that you forgot about it. But like, so
cute.
I would like to record my dream. So instead of telling people about the fucked up dream that I had, I can be like, yo, let me show you this fucked up dream that I had.
There's
This
blood
is gonna blow
everywhere.
your mind. Put a VR helmet and you're like in the dream.
You're in the dream. You're living the dream, literally.
Oh my God. I'm sold. I'll buy that.
Yeah, I want you.
So I had, it was months ago. One Saturday I got up and Briar's like, hey, you want to play some video games? So we hopped into Discord. And I was like, man, I had a fucked up dream last night, dude. I had a dream that the moon fell out of the sky and all the, that affects ocean waves, tide, the tide.
Shit.
So all hell was breaking loose. All the satellites were out and I couldn't get a hold of Sam. And I was like, dude, that's just, he's like, oh, that is absolutely terrifying. Like, why did you even tell me that? And,
Man.
how cool would it be for me to just be like, oh, let me show you this awesome dream I had last night and just suck him right into the VR headset and be like, gotcha, bitch, the moon's falling out. Like,
You are fortunate that you're not a marijuana user, because I hear that can add vivid dreams to yourself.
yeah, good thing I don't smoke weed, man. That'd be.
Right, imagine that.
Well, so my
wild
wife
dreams.
has dreams where I'm a douchebag. So, like, for instance,
Yes.
like we'll be one of the dreams.
She must be
this is-
sleepwalking.
Mhm.
Yeah, right.
Sleepwalking. Oh, hell no.
There was one dream that I remember her telling me about where we're all at Disney World, but the place was like, it was on fire. Like, I mean, the place was just blowing up. Like, it was mayhem. And she was so mad at me because I'm up in like a tower, like dancing with all my friends and like not caring about like the family and trying to
The whole
evacuate them from
DCP
Disney.
crew.
Yeah.
It's up there with Revolver Live.
She was just so mad. She like
I
Do you
can
know what?
relate. 'cause
she
I've
wakes
had
up
dreams
mad
like
at me. She wakes
Yeah.
up mad at me.
I've had dreams
Spouses
where
often do
Sam,
that.
Sam was very mean to me, and I also woke up very sad in need of attention.
Spouses often do that. I've had my fiance wake up and like I've been unfaithful in one of her dreams.
Oh yeah.
She won't talk to me for the whole day.
That's happened to me
The
before.
whole day.
God damn it, it's the worst.
I didn't even fuck a bitch. Like,
No, it's realistically because you had other shit to do, and you spent 90 minutes to go get a pink 3DS, and you didn't even bring home the bacon.
God damn
mean-
it, Gary.
that happened. But you know,
I keep throwing that back in his face. I feel so bad, but not really.
Dream Tech. Dream Tech, right? We've been
Yeah.
through this before. We've spoken around Steve, but I'm gonna loop back to the topic because
Uh-huh.
Steve needs to exist. God damn it! I saw in CES this year how good the sex bots have become, and I feel like I was born in the wrong generation because I feel like my son's gonna have the best possible life that anyone could ever have, and it really fucking grates on me that little son of a bitch just he doesn't even know how good his life's going to be. He's just existing. It just frustrates me. They've got like robot ladies now that can be perfectly designed to be aesthetically exactly what works for you. And then they're intelligent. Like they'll have conversations and they'll answer you back and they'll be smart and funny. But you just press a button and you're like, enough of this now, sexy time. It's just done. Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, all the benefits of a fleshlight, a maid, and Amazon Echo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
Alexa.
have to use your
Gary,
chat for Google
oh my
anymore,
god, you're
Briar.
gonna just be constantly asking this questions.
Hell yeah.
Where did the Lusitania sink?
Could you give me the top 5 Google search results for?
How do I join my friends in Sea of Thieves? That's hard sometimes.
So, yeah, that's my top dream tech, which isn't actually that much of a dream because it kind of exists at the moment, and within the next 10 years, it will exist. And I'm going to grow old with a machine.
Yeah, well, I mean, Gary, at least you won't be too old. You'll still be able to experience some of that mechanical love, man. It's coming your way.
What if it had a dream that you cheated on it and it was mad at you? Would you just like, here we go again?
I gotta reprogram this bitch.
The question is, do androids dream of electric sheep? Never mind. Keep going.
All right.
That's a good
So
question.
my dream technology is a consciousness. I guess it wouldn't be a duplicator, but maybe a technology that allows you to plug in a particular person who may have passed a long time ago and pull up their consciousness and have a conversation with them.
Oh, that
Yeah.
would have been great for you to go last for a segue. I just want to throw that out there. But to one of our topics. But
Yeah. To me, I
That's
think
pretty
it would be
cool.
awesome. You know, if you got friends or family who passed away, or if you want to go maybe to a museum or a place where people existed and passed away in crazy ways, and you got this little machine, and you can just type up a year, type up the person's name or whatever history remembers them as, and their consciousness will pop up, and you can actually have a
I've
conversation with them and
Got
ask
great
them.
news for you here, Beastly, and that is that I went to a carnival a couple of years back, and there's actually a woman who'll do that for like $5 in a little tent, and you can ask her, but you don't need a machine.
I know
You
what
can
you
say to
asked her,
her,
Gary. You had
yeah,
to
my
pay $15 more, didn't you?
great granddaddy Philip. I'd really like to speak to him, and she'll have a full on conversation with him. She'll be like, "Philip's doing great. He's up there. He's with Aunt Agnes. They're
says he
doing
forgets
great
you.
too.
He's not
They
mad.
forgive They love you. They're happy that you're finally happy yourself and that you're moving on with your life. They don't want you to be sad for them." $5. I had your dreams.
So I
think
listened
you
to a
owe
lot.
Gary $5.
I think we do. I'm PayPaling you right now.
Just tell me who you
Joe
want to
Rogan
speak to.
talks about this all the time on his podcast, and he thinks it's just inevitable that that's the way that humankind, not necessarily that you can plug in, type in someone's name and talk to them, but like you could upload your own consciousness into a computer, you know, like he talks about, you know, evolving from single-celled organisms to, you know, apes, chimpanzees to the now modern human. What's the next step? Is it technology? Is it uploading your consciousness into a machine so you don't get tired anymore? We don't have these dreams. You don't sleep. You know, like he talks about how weird it is that you have to sleep. You know, even while you're driving, in a do or die moment of split decisions, your body can sometimes fight to stay awake. You know, like, so I think that's a really cool idea. I think that's almost inevitable. But here's the problem. What if this technology comes out and Gary and Briar, being the first adopters of technology that they are, upload themselves, and then now all of a sudden there's the new iPhone 2 version of that, and they're stuck, you know, like, you know, you're stuck in that shitty version.
We have fucking 2G service. We don't even have the 3G service.
I got LTE, text to speech, you know what I mean? Do you, you know, like, so.
It's kind of funny you mentioned that.
480 screens.
Yeah.
There's a billionaire. His name is Sam Altman, who is signed up to kill himself, to have his brain digitally preserved in an electronic consciousness. This is new news. The news came out March 14th. I actually saw it on the local news. They were talking about this guy, and I just looked it up again.
Is he terminal? Is he dying or no? He's gonna kill himself while he's healthy.
In order to upload his entire consciousness to this.
How old is he?
He looks young, man. I mean, I could read the article.
He's doing this like now.
Let me see. He's one of 25 people who have move out of the damn way, who have splashed the cash to join a waiting list at Netcom.
PC is an Alexa. You can't talk to it.
Yeah, it's got to kill him first in order to upload his consciousness, and he's agreed to do it.
When?
It's a long article, and I don't feel like going through all that. But it's
how can you bring this up and not know the details, man? This is going to drive me crazy.
Or the date.
I'll put a fucking link in the description.
I'll put a link in the description.
Things. I saw one of the most amazing things, and it's slightly off topic, but not really. I'll make it quick. Amputees, they are putting prosthetic limbs on amputees that are hooked into sensors of your brain. So this guy who hasn't had use of his arm.
It's automail.
Yeah, it's automail, basically. He reached out, grabbed a beer, brought it to his mouth for the first time and took a drink, and he said to himself, I wonder what happens when I let go of this. And right when he said that, he dropped it on the ground. And you know, technology's getting crazy, man. Like, like I said, you know, who saw cell phones 100 years ago? Who saw...
Well, stem cell research, man, is coming along at a very quick pace. I mean,
insane,
it may be that within a few generations, people don't die.
Well,
fuck that.
People get old and die.
Look at how much longer we're living now compared to, you know, 400 years ago.
People will always die. Like, something will happen.
Will they, though?
You
can
can't
you
live
kill
forever.
a consciousness if you can upload it, though?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying.
Have you even seen Twilight?
The whole stem
Have you
cell thing,
seen
right?
Lawnmower Man? He's alive. He's still alive.
You've got a finite amount of resource on this earth, and you've got an infinite amount of people effectively at that point there. I mean, either you're dying of old age or I'm killing you. Like, one of the two things is going to happen. Like, I'm not sharing my, like, Turkish delight, which is a delicious British snack, because you happen to...
And also what you asked for at the massage parlor.
I take the Turkish delight, yeah. I mean, it has been confusing once or twice. I've wanted a candy bar and ended up with a hand job. So win-win.
You can't go wrong either way, I say.
Either one melts in your mouth and not in your hands.
In case someone wondered where I disappeared off to for a couple of minutes, I've drunk 2 pints of beer and I'm in my 30s, and that is just, you know, there's no way you're lasting 2 hours at that point there.
No.
Last topic, should we do it?
Oh, I didn't do mine yet. It'll be quick because we've already actually talked about it, but I still want this game to be developed. It's a first-person shooter that ties into Google Maps.
Your neighborhood or anywhere you want.
And I want it to be AR glasses, so now I can run around my neighborhood shooting, my friends.
Right. In
there's a
today's
lot of
society,
debate.
you'll be shot before you get to the corner.
He wants
Yeah, I'm
GTA
gonna-
VR.
I'm fine. It's a nice neighborhood.
It's a nice neighborhood. It's a really good
plastic, orange plastic guns. It'll be fine.
There's a lot of people defending your rights to do that in America right now. You don't need a VR headset, so it's all good. Shall we
I'll
move on
start
to
doing
our
it.
final topic, which is whose topic is that? Willie? I think it's yours, isn't it?
Oh, okay, yeah. So we've got, if you could hang out with anyone for one weekend, who would it be, and what would you do? And we kind of expanded on this topic a little bit. Gary, how did we decide to? I had it written down and it's gone. How did we decide to expand on that?
We did expand to say one person from history and one person in current time, but the fact that we have already gone over time by 1 minute, I'm going to reel that shit back in. You've got one person. One person only.
From history.
Okay,
Or
I'll go
current.
first.
What are the
Just-
limitations? I get to hang out with them for how long?
See,
For
I
as
had a
long as
question.
you want.
As
I
long
had
as
a
I
question
want.
for you,
Yeah.
Wilson, because you said a weekend here, and also, is the person compliant? Because I don't want to be stuck for a whole weekend with someone who just does not want to spend any time with me, or I don't speak their
is.
language.
100% consensual. You can speak the same language. Let's suspend
Got you.
disbelief here.
Are they
Gotcha.
coming here, or do I get to go to their time?
Whatever you want to do, Briar. This is
Okay.
suspension
This
of
is easy.
disbelief. If you want to go back into that time period or bring them forward and be like, look, bitch, you were wrong, or whatever, like, it's up to you. So my answer, beyond the shadow of a doubt, is Nikola Tesla.
Ooh, that's
Oh,
great.
100%.
Oh, man, shit.
Interesting.
That dude, and would, even better, I would bring him, he would come to this time period.
Yeah.
Because I'd want to see,
His
I'd want him
reaction
to
it.
see like how far we've come along, or how far maybe we haven't come
Would you
along
send him
according
back?
to him. Yeah, set back maybe.
Wait, would you send him back though? Would you
No,
show him what
I'd
we
bring
got?
him to us, so that he could see the progression that we've
And
made.
keep him
see
here?
if-
Then he'd send him back to die in the hotel.
Well, I don't know where he'd go after I was done talking to him. I haven't really made it that far into the theory or into the topic yet. But like, I would want to talk to Nikola Tesla in our timeline, and I want to find out if that dude was an alien or not, because that dude was way ahead of our time period. I want to know. I want to pick his brain. I want to say, how did you come up with the stuff that you came up when nobody had done any legwork before you? Like, you were on the forefront. Like, how does this stuff come to you? Like, do you have weird dreams? Like, are you like, what is it? What makes you a genius? Like, what makes him tick? And then I would introduce him to Elon Musk and watch the universe explode.
Yeah, it would explode. All glass would explode. Mine's pretty simple. I'll make it quick. I'd spend a weekend talking to Aleister Crowley. Aleister Crowley is a very well-known figure, and he died in 1947, and he was the motivation and the thought behind many modern musicians, film critics, film stars, people who are in the know and well-known, prominent people. Really follow Aleister Crowley because of his teachings in Jewish mysticism and what people call the Illuminati. And he was actually one of the highest ranked Freemasons in that time. He actually lived on Lake Loch Ness at that Scottish castle there. And he's a very well-known person. And I just like to pick his mind and see exactly what he was into and the kind of things that he had done. And really,
You wanted to see if he could blow the lid off the whole Illuminati thing? Is that what you're wanting? Like,
oh,
no, I don't think that would be my. I would want to me, I see him as kind of the enemy.
okay.
And so for me, I would want to know everything that the enemy knows. And of course, in this, spend all beliefs type of world, they have to answer all your questions truthfully and honestly.
Right.
I'd want to know what he knows. So because
Yeah,
he
you want
still-
to blow the
he's-
lid off the whole.
he still impacts this world greatly to this day. And so I really want to
Interesting.
know everything he knows. That's it.
That's a cool answer.
And I like it. Well, on the back of BC's weekend with Gandalf, I would look at.
You
a
son of a
different-
bitch.
I heard Grand Wizard something else. He's not in the clan. I think he's at Hogwarts, wherever the fuck he is. My
That was
one
Dumbledore.
is-
Dumbledore.
was it Gandalf? Fucking one of them taught Harry Potter how to fly a wand. mine would actually be a little bit of a Wilson. I'm clinging to one word that you said here, and that was that this weekend is consensual.
Do tell more.
Right, I'm going to go back to 1950. And I'm going to be paying Queen Elizabeth II of the UK a little visit.
Saucy.
This is
You
this
cheeky
isn't the
bastard.
little old lady with the withered grey hair. This is 18-year-old Queen just ready for coronation before Philip's gone in and done the dirty.
Oh
This
my
is
God.
this is for me more of a thing to say every year moving subsequent from that. Every time she comes on TV, every time someone pulls out currency, I've just got a knowing smirk that comes over me. And it's like,
Oh my god.
I hit
I remember
that.
I remember a weekend in 1950.
The summer of 1950. Oh,
That was it.
we were so
That's
young.
not bad, Gary.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Wow, I knew
That's it.
Gary was going to bring sex into this as soon as
Of
he said the
course.
word consensual.
Queen Lizzie. Could you
Queen
imagine?
Lizzie.
Oh, Gary,
I mean,
that's gonna be
you
hard
watch
to
it.
was
She was,
brunette.
she was coronated 20, I believe. I think she was like 21 or one of the youngest monarchs ever coronated. She's like 92 now. Obviously, I'm not going to fuck her. I mean, I probably would fuck her now. I'm going to be honest. Just to say that she's the queen. I think I have like a moral obligation to do
Yes.
so as one of
Yeah,
her citizens.
100%.
She rules. If she
Absolutely.
asks, I have to oblige.
Yes.
But I'd rather, if I could,
Shoot yourself in the dick, Gary.
Get the 18-year-old version.
Yes.
exactly. You know, when everyone stands up for the national anthem, God Save Our Queen, and you're sitting there just thinking, oh, yeah, you know, God
Oh, I
Save Our
saved
Queen.
her.
All right. You know, I've done it.
Oh, I saved her.
Much like Gary, I would also like to travel into the past. I would like to hang out with the Roman Emperor Nero.
Oh,
Now-
God.
I have heard this dude had quite a good time in his day.
Do tell.
The
so,
orgies.
for instance, the orgies, a big thing. I mean, I've never
Public?
been invited to an orgy. And I think that a Roman orgy aboard a huge-ass boat in the middle of
Playing to the
middle-
Sea of Thieves.
in the middle of Rome, I could see myself enjoying that quite a bit.
I'm sure you could. Gary.
He also is rumored to have started the Rome fire and burnt down Rome just so he could build a new palace. I think this is a fun dude to hang out with, man. Like this
I like
dude,
fire.
You
I
were at
think-
Disneyland dancing in fire, weren't you?
I think he
Brian?
might have been one of the all-time fun dudes of history, and he's just misunderstood now. He's just misunderstood now. The guy had money, and he knew how to spend it.
He'd fit right in nowadays.
Right? He
Yeah,
on
that's
Instagram, tweeting pictures of his planes and shit.
He'd have at least
Sending
10,
dick pics
12
out there,
million.
public dick pics
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Instagram. That's it.
Yeah.
He'd have
man.
at least 10, 12 million followers on Twitter. Like,
Oh, yeah.
100%.
I mean, you mentioned that you'd be seeing like the time period, you go back in history and see Rome. To be honest, I didn't think that at all in my answer. I'm not leaving the bedroom like for the whole weekend of 1950s. I'm completely missing that. I'm literally going to be staring at the ceiling or the mattress. That's pretty much going to be the only views I have of 1950s England.
What a great story to tell when you get
What
back.
a smut pirate! I swear. Gary.
I just want to check it out, man. I've always wanted to go to Italy anyway.
All the great things
Why
that
not
we could do.
Roman orgy?
All the
You
might not know-
with Nero.
all the things you two could do. We might not know who made the Sphinx or the Great Pyramids. All the
Yeah.
things you could go back and do hypothetically, and you guys
Yeah.
got to smut it up.
So,
Yeah,
so
smart
far, can we
pirates.
just recap? Can we recap our answers? We've got Nikola Tesla. We've
Uh-huh.
got Ganondorf
Aleister Crowley.
V.
So we basically have
Aleister
two
Crowley.
wizards.
What?
The queen.
Basically, two wizards.
The queen
Boning the Queen.
and the Roman emperor. The
And
best
boning
Roman emperor.
all the women in this
an
fucking
orgy.
orgy.
And then, in Bill and Ted fashion, we're gonna bring them all together.
Like, we're gonna see- we're
Oh,
gonna put on
man.
the show.
I can't wait till
Obviously.
Nero gets hold of the queen.
We're gonna grow beards. We're gonna perform God gave rock and roll to you, and we're gonna fix the world.
Perfect.
That's it.
Perfect.
Does anyone have the Grim Reaper's number? Because I think this is essential to finishing this story.
Oh my god, this is so fucking stupid.
And
answer.
that is why Sea of Thieves got a 68 on Metacritic.
Yep.
Oh,
You can take that
man.
to the bank. You could
Drop.
bet that Kotaku is going to be quoting this podcast about that Metacritic and why.
Oh my god.
Hey,
Where
at
do we
least
go
this
from there,
one can
guys?
Go up on YouTube. Like that's a positive. Ooh,
Yeah.
Also, we're running hot, but for the past 2 weeks, I've felt an incredible guilt in my soul that we've not spoken about our sponsor
Yes.
and friend, On Air PC. Ryan On Air PC introduced Beastly Gamer here into the Master Race. He is enjoying frames galore. It's like a frame orgy. It's like Nero's parties in Beastly's desktop. It is frantic, frankly obscene. We have a promotion with On Air PC where the again, if you order your PC through On Air or you speak to them, decide that's something you want to go with, you will get a Revolver Live goodie pack that comes with the mouse pad that Briar is flashing up on the screen, cups, t-shirts, bodily fluids, anything that you want, we will send. Just give us 24 hours notice so we can drink plenty of Lucozade beforehand. But yeah, that's pretty much it. On Air PC, there's a command going up in chat. There's also all their details on the podcast comments, but we should have spoken around them earlier. Ryan, if you're listening, I do apologize that this came on the back of fucking the Queen. I didn't want to position your fine establishment in such a treasonous segment, but
well, we can upload this to YouTube, but it can't be played in England now. Thanks, Gary.
Got that right. Gary done fucked it up.
Oh, God save the Queen.
God save the Queen.
Thank you guys for watching and listening on the audio versions. And we'll see you guys next week.